Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. And on United States.FM network. You know, this Sunday, I tell you, I almost was not going to make it because I have a very big cold. Listen to my voice. I'm completely almost, I'm sick. But guess what? I love doing this show. And when I get guests like this gentleman that I'm going to have right now in the next few minutes, I would do this show even if I'm dying. Because this is for me exactly the purpose of this program, of this idea that I had. Love, Guns, and Freedom. It's about freedom. Freedom of speech. Freedom to also disagree or to agree, and more important, to learn from each other. Okay? I really want to thank KTOX again to allow me to say things that normally I know many other commercial stations in the area probably would be very difficult to do. So today, let's go straight to the point. It's about freedom of speech. It's about also learning more about a religion that I really would like to learn more. And I think I got the right guy here today. And it's also about Trump. Everybody's talking about Trump. And guys, I'm an independent. I don't really have any type of side. My only side is the truth. My only side is try to find out how we can rebuild a republic based on the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Now, the gentleman that I have here is a guy. The guy is a man. Is a man that has an accent like myself. It is not from the country, but I will ask him where he's from. He's a very exciting guy, I'll tell you. He has a lot of stamina, and he was very famous, he's still very famous on YouTube, because just a few days ago, he did a speech exposing, at least sharing his opinions about candidate Donald Trump, and he said something very strong about Donald Trump. And guess what? I like people with passion. Let's see exactly, though, where things are, because I want to know more about what he has to say about Donald Trump, and I want to know more about, of course, his point of views about everything. His name is Ebou, and he's right now in Washington State. Ebou, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Nice to meet you, Ebou. And can I ask you something? Can you introduce briefly yourself? Where originally you're from? I think...
I'm originally from Gambia, and as right now I'm based in Seattle, Washington.
Perfect. Like me, I was an immigrant myself, as you can hear my accent. I was from Rome, Italy. I came about 17, 18 years ago, 1998. How long did you come here? When did you come here, if I can ask you?
Almost 10 years, more than 10 years now, if I can remember.
You're getting there. Are you already a citizen, if I can ask you?
Yes, sure.
Perfect, great. This is exactly what I like about finding people that we can speak freely about everything. And by the way, I want to thank you. You're a busy guy, and today is Saturday, and you don't know me. And it's funny before, when I asked you for to talk on the show, you went to my Facebook page. You say, hey, you look almost like a KKK, and I say this, I don't look like anything like a KKK, but on top I'm from Italy, but yeah, guns. And I like freedom of speech, and I have on my show everybody. I have people that they want to talk about KKK, I invite them. I may challenge them, but I always here to have a freedom of speech. Now, let's go straight to the point. You have a video that I would like to replay because it's powerful. I tell you, this is something that you got more than 400,000 viewers out there, okay? And it's going to be exactly, you spoke up after Trump said something about the Muslims out there, okay? Now, I will play this at the end. Or maybe, I'm going to play now. It's very short. It's 1 minute. You allow me to do that?
Sure.
Perfect. Let me do that, okay? Stay there.
Hello, each and every one of you. Donald Trump said that today on the news, in front of all millions of people, Donald Trump said that they're going to ban Muslims coming to America. Donald Trump, let me tell you one thing. Donald Trump, you need somebody who is going to put you right on your spot. And that person is me. Donald Trump, you don't have no respect. don't have no manner, you don't have no discipline. You know, because it's because of you are not circumcised. I blame your mother and your father. They are the people who put you in this trouble. Donald Trump, I am a Muslim. Do you know that thousands of Muslims are working in the U.S. Army? Do you know thousands of Muslims are working as police officers in America? Donald Trump, your pussy, your father pussy, your mother pussy, your son pussy, your entire family, you are all bastards. You are bigot. You don't even know the value of America. Donald Trump, you are nothing. You don't have no respect. You need, I bought a knife from Amazon. I will circumcise you. I will circumcise you. You are nothing but a bastard. You are your children. Say, tyranny, Makoa, your father pussy, your mother pussy, and your entire family.
Okay, I had to stop there a little bit. I need to edit a couple words there, but that's okay. You have a lot of passion there, okay? And everything, I'll tell you, if you didn't bring out the knife from Amazon, the part at the beginning when you said Amazon, I was laughing, and you didn't mention the circumcision, I think, okay, that's great. That's his opinion. He called, the person according to what you think. I just thought a little bit we lose each other there when you start to bring something that you want to do. Why you want to circumcise him? Donald Trump, tell me, because I don't know much about what does it mean, that what does really happen when you circumcise somebody against his will, please.
Exactly, because that is what most of the people are asking me. Why do you want to circumcise him? Because, back in Africa, most of the people who don't have no respect are people who don't circumcise. Because back in Africa, if they circumcise you, they're going to show you manhood, how a man should behave, how a man should talk, There are certain kind of words that, you don't have to say those kind of words. A word that, it can bring difference, I'm a freedom fighter myself. I've been fighting freedom for, thousands of people around the world. That's why I do comedy. So I do it in a way where, I used to talk about what is going on around the world. So that's why, I saw that what Trump was saying is wrong. And, the word that he said, is very alarming because, thousands of Americans are living in Muslim countries. So this kind of word, it can make some, radicals to have more chance, to recruit more Muslims, fooling them, telling them misinformation about Islam, which, it was not true, So because last time I saw on TV, there is one Muslim guy who was radicalized, but thank God before he's going to leave the country, I think he was going to Syria, if I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
But his parents report him to the FBI before he's going to leave the country. So, and the boy, according to the FBI, if I can remember, they were saying that the boy was radicalized. He was talking with some ISIS members, and they were telling him that, you see, America, they don't like Muslims, they are taking your tax money, they are bombing innocent Muslims, they are doing this, all sorts of bad things, So, okay, those are the words that ISIS is using to radicalize Muslims, so who, they don't know much about Muslims, That's why, the word that Donald Trump just said, ISIS can use those kind of words as a propaganda and say, okay, you see, this is the word that Donald Trump just said, and it is true. So, that also can influence some Muslims, Muslim kids, because, most of the people that ISIS don't need Muslims from Africa or other part, because we know the religion, very well. So what they need are Muslims who are living overseas, who don't know too much about the religion, So
okay.
That's what, yes.
Let me ask you something. This is important, okay? First of all, you agree with me one thing. I mean, what you were saying, I think was okay. It's your opinion. I'm not even saying it's right or wrong. It's your opinion. That was fine, okay? That's fine. The only thing I tell you, for me, coming from maybe, I'm glad you explained to me that from your culture, the fact that when you circumcise somebody, you show your manhood and all these things, because I have no idea, okay? I'm normally in Italy, we don't circumcise ourselves. But the point is, the way people may look at that, when you bring somehow to a conversation a knife and you want to inflict some sort of a surgical operation to that person that you disagree with, may sound a little disturbing, that part. Don't you agree with me if you look at this from a perspective of a Western world?
Yeah, that is true, because that is how most of the people are saying, okay, he just saw of a knife, and he say, some people it's just a threat, but I was just talking. I'm a comedian, so that is the way that I think is, I can have more attention,
I understand. You made your point. You made your point. Don't get me wrong.
I was just looking at attention, so that people can hear the message that I'm saying, because I have been making too much of videos. I don't have too much of attention like that.
I understand.
You can see as, how I see it and how I do it, I'm having too much of attention because I'm seeing myself right now on TV and people are calling me different kind of name. And more than 10 newspapers in England, are putting me on newspapers and different kind of stuff. But, I'm very glad that my words also are going, over so that people can know we the Muslims, we don't hate America, we don't hate Christians, So what I don't want is the politician to use us as a weapon, because where I'm from a country where, we have 95% Muslims. But the Christians, we live with them, we eat with them, we marry with them, and we do everything with them. So if politicians want to divide us, so I don't like the politicians to divide us through our religion, because we the Muslim, we love Christians, and Christian, they love us. So, as Jewish, as homosexuals or gay or whatever, I'm a person who respect everybody. I have friends who are gay, but my religion did not accept homosexual. But yes, it's my religion that did not accept homosexual.
Okay.
But I personally, I have friends who are gay, because I'm not going to judge them that they are going to hellfire or they are going to do this, just like what other Muslims do, because I have a friend who is gay, and then, a friend of me called me and told me, you don't have to go with this person because he's gay. I tell him, you know what, you cannot tell me what I have to do. I can go with whoever I want, even he's gay or he's bi or he's this, that's nobody's business. Nobody should judge nobody. God is the one that should judge. So I have the right to go with nobody,
I agree.
So, that's my feeling. So
let me ask you something, please, because you really seem like a very smart person, by the way, and articulate, and of course, and also, you seem like a nice guy. I like the fact that you respect others, even if people they don't comply with your beliefs. That's great, and that's exactly where I'm coming from. I want to respect everybody who respect myself and does not want to use force to impose their beliefs on me. Normally, I don't even talk on religion on this show. I keep for myself. I try to talk about things that are supposed to be common to every human being. It's about freedom. It's about love. It's about, of course, also guns. I believe that, especially in America, we have the Second Amendment that is a right, is an individual right that defend all the other rights from tyrants. That's a fact, You may like knife, I like guns. That's the point. But regardless, now, my only point is one, and I'm glad you're here because I want to thank you. I'm here with an open mind. And I'm just here as a student, okay? I grew up Catholic, but then I left the Catholic, and I am myself considered a Christian. Even normally I don't go out and talk about it because I'm just a little sinner, and I'm not here in condition to preach to anybody. But I like to read books. I like to read every book. I have a copy of the Bible. I have a copy of the Mormon Bible. I have a copy of the Protestant Bible. I have a copy of the Quran, and I have the copy of the Torah. Every book I can read, I put my hands on it. Now, you're the guy that you're a Muslim, right? So that's the fact.
Yeah.
Good. You're the right person to ask. Now, what you said, I think, was very comforting. The fact that you say, I have a gay friend that, I'm not going to tell him that they're going to rot in hell. It's their business, but I'm still my friends. And I have Christians, and that's great. And I have Jews, and that's great. They do what they want. I do what I want. Nobody bothers each other. We're all going to live happy. And that's exactly was the idea of America. We respect each other. Now, I have only a question. And this, don't get me wrong, I'm not naive. For example, I'll tell you where I'm coming from, so you know everything about me, okay? I know very well that they've been globalist elite. The New World Order, the global government, is been using puppets, okay, creating enemies to go to war in countries like, for example, the Middle Eastern, okay? For example, I'm not naive. You're not talking to the radio show guy here. I think that 11 people or 18 people with a box cutter put down 9/11, okay? That was a false, was a lie. We know very well that there is a lot of things don't adds up. Like, for example, I know we have enough evidence, okay, that this ISIS is being funded by the CIA and England, okay? That's a fact. So it's a creation of this part of these governments that is not our government anymore to go to create this completely eternal, non-stop wars. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, the bottom line, for example, in Syria now, they want to oust out Assad. Okay, so they needed to create the excuse of ISIS, and that's what they were using ISIS. We know this. So I'm not naive. I understand that all this is being, for example, like even the San Bernardino shooting. Did you hear about that, right? You know that something doesn't add up. I mean, there were, for example, 3 shooters. They've been witnessed by several people, and now they disappear, and now the blue you have one man and one 90-pound woman becoming Rambo out of the blue. I mean, something doesn't add up. And don't get me wrong. I understand that people can be radicalized, people can be brainwashed, can be somehow used as pawns. So I'd not say that, for example, there are no people killing other people in the name of a god. No, it's happening. But also it's point that they've been somehow creating them or using them as patsies, like, for example, in Jeff Kennedy assassination. Now, let's go into the point of where exactly you come in. You are the expert. I would like to ask you some questions in a very scientific way. I'm not taking side of any religion. I'm just here as an open mind to learn, okay? Now, the first questions I have, because I talked also about this a couple of shows ago. In your religion, who is your role model? Is he, according to what I read in the Quran, is Muhammad is your role model? Is a man that anyway you should get inspiration? Like, for example, for the Christian, is Jesus Christ? Tell me yes or not, so I understand.
Yes, it's Prophet Muhammad.
So, good. Okay, I understand. So, and at the end of the day, what is your book, your holy book that you must comply? Like for the Christian, the New Testament and the Bible, of course, is your book, the Quran, correct? That's your book.
Yeah, the Holy Quran.
Okay. Now, you, for example, I see Christians, sometimes they pick and choose what they want to learn, okay, or what they want to comply with. But the idea that if you're a real Christian, you need to live by the 10 commandments. That's the bottom line. If you're a real Muslim, you need to comply with your book. Am I right or wrong?
That's right.
Perfect. Now, I want to ask you, because as I said, I like you, because you got an open mind, that you live here, and it seems like you respect everybody else. But I see other reality, for example, coming in other countries, like, in Saudi Arabia. If we were in this conversation, like me and you in Saudi Arabia, probably we would be, I don't know, something may happen, just because we debate, just because we talk about something. We don't have the type of freedom of speech. Reading from the Quran, okay, and reading from the Bible, I'm trying to, for example, this comparison. The Quran says, and correct me if I'm wrong, I got it here, I'm trying to read it, okay? Allah does not love those who reject Islam, okay? And that's from Quran 30:45. That means, Allah does not love, if you reject Islam, Allah doesn't love you. Okay, that's his opinion. Allah doesn't need to love you. But Jesus said, okay, God loves everyone. That's a little comparison. Two different type of gods, okay, in this situation. But that's not even the point, because, hey, Allah doesn't love me. That's okay. I'm sorry about that, but nobody's done yet. Now, when I really a little start to get concerned, there are a lot of parts in the different passages of, for example, the Muslim religion in different parts of the Quran. For example, Muslim 42:06, stone women for adultery. Jesus said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Jesus said, hey, if you have no sin, nobody has no sin. So don't start to stone this woman. So we have, in this country, I'm glad you're like, all of us. But you see, when you start to apply this principle directly from the book under the Sharia law, that after all is nothing special, it's just the law. Tell me if Sharia law is something exceptional. Don't you think Sharia law is just something part of the Muslim religion or not?
Yes. The only thing I can say, to be honest with you, Sharia is part of our law.
Mm-hmm.
That is part of Muslims' law.
Mm-hmm.
Understand?
Yes.
Okay, but to be honest with you, I am a Muslim. But to be honest with you, I'm scared of Sharia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about me, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Muslim, and I'm scared of a Sharia, because, what I want to live in a place where, I can be free, I can able to go to nightclub, I can able to hang out with friends, I can able to do my things. That is what I want,
Okay.
But to be honest with you, for me, I feel so threatened to live in a country where, there are Sharia, because that means there are too much of things that I am used to, because if I was born in a Sharia country, maybe I can say, okay, I was born in a Sharia, okay, I understand Sharia, but I was not born in a Sharia country, because I know there are certain kind of stuff, if you do it in Saudi Arabia, they're going to beheaded you, and they're going to, kill you if you do certain kind of stuff, but to be honest with you, that's Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But that does not mean all Muslims are practicing Sharia, Okay, because there is one British man who went to Saudi Arabia, and then they caught him with the alcohol, so they beat him up and they put him in prison. So people are saying, okay, no, they have the religion, blah blah blah. No, Saudi Arabia are using Sharia. Okay, so people have to respect people's law. If that country is using Sharia, the country say don't do this. If you go to that country, don't do that. Because that is what I trust. That's why since I come to America, I respect people's property, people's right. That is that's why I'm a very open-minded person. I deal with different kind of people. I don't care who you are, which language you speak, and where you come from. But I'm a Muslim. But I'm scared of Sharia, because if I go to, today, if you tell me, do you want to stay in England for the rest of your life, or do you want to go and stay Saudi Arabia for the rest of your life? I'm talking about me.
Yes.
I will say I want to live in England.
I understand.
Because,
I'm glad,
everything there, but because, in Saudi Arabia, I don't mind to go and visit, and if I go and visit Saudi Arabia, I will behave like how they want people to behave. I will not commit any crime that, they're going to behead me or do something wrong,
Okay, don't get me wrong. Listen, I'm glad you're like this, because we have at least the same type of mindset. Probably we could not have this conversation if you were saying, no, we gotta all observe Sharia law. There would be no debate. Okay, everybody pack their guns and we see you on the other side. I mean, I'm glad you're like that. My only point is it's not about you now. It's about thinking about you. Are like a smart guy. You're a guy that understands the freedom, and also at the end of the day, your God will judge you. And you live your life according to what you think is right, and then God will judge you. But nobody needs to chop your head, okay? That's the bottom line. Even if you make a mistake, let your God judge you. And that's the way I live my life. I'm a sinner, and one day I'll be judged by my God, okay? But nobody must tell me how many cigarettes I can smoke. By the way, I don't smoke. How much wine I can drink, or how many women I can have. That's the bottom line. It's my life, okay? Now, the only concern is for me, it's that according to the book, okay, I'm just going by the book. The
book, which one? The Bible you're talking, or the Quran?
I'm talking about the Quran now, and I'm comparing, of course, with the New Testament. And I'm focusing on those two parts, okay? Because I would like to call Christianity with the New Testament of Jesus Christ. And let's let it go for a moment. Because Jesus Christ, we know, was a hippie. Somehow, he never wanted to harm anybody. Even, of course, he got mad at the bankers at the temple. That was great. That part, I really like that, okay? But I'm wanting to focus now, because you are the expert on the Muslim, and I would like to ask you questions like this. So, my point is, when we have many people that they follow the book by the word, okay? And there is a fact. It's not just Saudi Arabia. I mean, look now, for example, you go in many parts of England. We were talking about England. There are a lot of neighborhood that they want to apply Sharia law. And when you have a majority of population that they cannot integrate with the new reality, or they don't want to integrate with the new reality, they want to bring also their laws. In Norway, in Sweden, it's happening the same. I mean, I heard situations in Italy. Unfortunately, they want.
Okay, I understand that portion. Let me cut you off very quick. Let me tell you one thing.
Yes.
The understanding that I have, there are certain kind of cultures that we need to leave behind. If you are from Middle East, if you are from Middle East or Africa or anywhere you are from in this world, if you come to America, you have to adopt some American cultures. There are some cultures that America, they don't allow those kind of cultures. So those kind of cultures, you have to leave them behind. If you want to bring those cultures that they didn't want and it's against their law, that means you are the one who is trying to bring trouble. Let me tell you one thing.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, because what I understand is this. If you go to Rome, do as Romans do. You cannot go to people's country and say, I will put on just like in France, France say they ban Muslim for wearing to cover all their face. I support France of doing that because it's France, that's their country.
Wow.
If you don't want it, if you are a Muslim, you from another country, you don't want it, take your back, leave the country. Period.
Wow.
That's it. People need to understand this is their country. They can do whatever they want that they think is protecting themselves. And France are not doing this to harm Muslims. And then as a Muslim, you have to cover your hair. That is what they say. But they don't say your face. I'm from Africa. And Senegal today, Senegal is 99.9% Muslim. In Senegal today, they ban Muslim for covering all their face. It's because of the Senegalese, because they are safety. In Chad is a 95% Muslim. They ban women to cover all their faces just because of Boko Haram is there. You know? And all these countries are all Muslim countries. So people need to understand, if you don't want to do that, pack your stuff, leave their country, because this country belongs to them. If they say, okay, we have a law that we don't need this, my friend, take your stuff and leave the country. Period. That's the understanding that I have. You can go ahead.
Ebou, I respect you for that. I'm telling you, I'm glad we talked, because that's important. You understand that every country has their own sovereignty. They have their own rules, and that's why I like it too, because, that's what used to be beautiful about the world. You don't like a place, you go to another one. So you understand how they're trying to create a global government. I'm sure you're familiar with the word term New World Order. They want to create all this one global government where there is no more place to go, but we're going to be all under the centralized tyranny. And that's exactly my point, For example, if we have in a country, like, now, for example, they are using this crisis that was created. This is according to now media, mainstream media, Syria and ISIS. We have documents from the Pentagon that is all be engineered because the Pentagon and this administration, Obama, wants to create this new regime after Assad. So, yes, the refugees, they were part of the consequences, because if you start to bomb the crap out of that country for 2 years, people are going to have no more homes to stay and they need to go somewhere. But they knew it. Now, what is strange, though, and I want your opinion here, that all these refugees that we are bringing here, 99.9%, we don't have any more some sort of a mix like used to be, like you have little Christians, little Jews, and little Muslim. We have mostly Muslim. Don't you think there is maybe an agenda here? Because as you said before, and I'm going through by your words, you say, you go to that country, in Senegal or Ghana or whatever, they are 99% Muslim, and we live by their rules. And I agree. If I would go to your country, I would respect the rules, or maybe I wouldn't go at all. Okay? But now, if you come to America, you start to bring 100,000, 200,000, and more unlimited, or at least no melting pot, because we're supposed to be a melting pot, a little bit of everything, so nobody takes over. That's the idea. Now, don't you see there is maybe a little trend to create some sort of a privilege just towards a group? And what if in 10 years from now, like in Michigan or many other states, we have a huge majority in some areas of complete people that they don't come to assimilate, as you said, you need to assimilate at least the basic cultural stuff, but they want to, after all, they can vote, and they can vote elected representative and bring some sort of a Sharia law. For example, in the city council of Michigan or some part of that area there, they can start to say, I don't want to have any type of liquor store in the type of radius of miles around the mosque. And people say, I'm not drinking in your mosque, but I want to drink my beer, because maybe I'm not a Muslim, or I'm not a Christian, or whatever. So that's my only point. We're supposed to be a melting pot. Have a little bit of everybody, we all respect each other. I see instead there is an agenda, especially with the Syrian refugees, to bring mostly 99% just Muslims. We don't hear about any Jews or any Christians. What do you think about that? I want your opinion.
Anyway, I don't see Muslims, these refugees, as a threat, to be honest with you. What I see as a threat, people with mental illness who are just taking guns, killing innocent people. Those are the people that I saw as a threat. But these refugees, refugees have the right to go to anywhere they want, because right now there's a war in their country. So, they have, America also have the right to go and, help them, bring them here so that they can settle down. And then just to let you know, some of these refugees, all of them are not Muslim. They are refugees who are Christians who, today, they are in America today because, there's a war in Syria. There is one family that I saw that, they are Christians. So some people think that all these refugees are Muslim. No, just like what is happening in Palestine. Because of, Gaza keep on bombing people of Palestine. They are killing them, and people think that all the people they are killing are all Muslims. You have Christians in Palestine who are living there. That is what I want people to understand. They are just innocent. They don't do anything wrong. So I support the government, for taking time to save lives and bring refugees here.
Let me ask you something. First of all, let's see with the point. I want to be sure we got it right. Don't you think that, first of all, it is the status of refugee? It doesn't give you a right to go to anywhere, but is always according to the benevolence or the benevolence of the country and the people who are going to pay for you. So it's not like a right. For example, let's say I'm a refugee from Italy, okay? And I want to go to Ghana, okay? It's not like a right. I mean, the Ghana government look at me and say, wait a second, I want to let you in if I want you in, because I'm nice. But it's not like a right for me as an Italian person or a guy from another country come to your country and say, I want to be in Ghana, to Ghana. That's not a right. We agree on that. Don't you think I'm...
yes, that portion is true. Refugees...
it is not a right. It's not a right. I mean, it's an act of law.
So, because what I'm trying to say, there is refugees have the right to go to anywhere they want, okay?
But I don't think so.
If they are stuck, just like right now, okay, refugees who are in Kenya, or they are in France, or they are in Denmark or whatever, they have the right to go to any country. But if that country did not let them, and then another country say, okay, I will help you and let you guys in, that's fine, know. But refugees also have the right to go to anywhere they want.
Okay, listen, refugees have the right to say whatever they want, and they can have the right to wish to go anywhere they want.
Exactly. So now is the...
I mean, that's a right.
Okay, I will help you and bring you here, or the France will say, okay, I will help you and bring you. But the refugees also have the right to say, okay, France, I don't want to go to France. I want to go to Germany.
Okay,
also have the right,
and that's fine.
That's
right. As a human being, you can choose. I wish I could go to Mars. I wish I could go to America. That's of course, so you can. But you know what right means? Right means that something you were born with. That means, like, for example, you have, as a human being, the right to be free. You have the right to defend yourself. You have the right of freedom of speech. We're talking about the basic rights enumerated in our Bill of Rights. But to go to another country that somebody's supposed to pay for you, like, for example, this country is paying for the refugee and the other country they pay, that's not a right. That's called a privilege, because after all...
Yes, that is a privilege, but they also have the right, because they are also human beings, because that's their, so...
But remember something
that does not mean that if I pay for you and I bring you here, I will tell you what to do. That is not right.
But remember something.
Help me and save me, and then show me the way how I can be success. But don't say, okay, I will help you, bring you here, and then I will use you as my slave. You're going to do this for me or do that for me. That is not what America stands for.
Of course not.
Helping people, and then when they come and then they show them ways, because I saw a Syrian refugees who just come here recently. Right now, they live in a very peaceful house, and they're getting help from the government. They are going to school. They are learning the language. That is the value of United States of America.
Ebou, let me ask you something. And then, okay, yes. We understand the word rights and privilege. Of course, we are human beings. When you're here, everybody should be treated with respect. The moment that you accept it, that's fine. But remember, you cannot force somebody else to give you charity, because that becomes an extortion. Okay, that's the bottom line. But now, going back to the numbers, because, as I say, I'm here as an humble learner, and on top I go by facts. I don't go by emotion. I want to talk about facts. You said that most of the refugees, I was saying, a statement that I would like to see refugees, if they have to come, they come in a way that they are integrated, and there is a melting pot. So there are a lot of Christians and a lot of Muslims, a lot of Jews, a little bit everything. You said that mostly.
I understand that. Yes, I understand about.
Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you a fact, only a fact. According to the State Department, okay, this is the State Department of this Obama administration, so it's not some right-wing book or something like that. Yes. The State Department said November the 13th has admitted 237 Syrian refugees into the United States. That was just a little number. And 236, they were Sunni Muslim, okay, and there was one Christian. That's according to the facts. So the point is, right now, the data that they start to come true, according to the facts, it is exactly contradicting what I was trying to say. What you were trying to say. I would like to see a melting pot. If they have to come here, let's have some Jews, some Muslims, and some Christians. Instead, the Obama administration admitted that they let in like 0.9% of Muslims, and they are Sunni Muslim. I don't even know the difference between a Sunni Muslim and another Muslim, but the point is, that's exactly my point. So
that is true, because that person, what you have to understand there, before you come to America as a refugee, there are some tests and there are some questions that they need to ask you. So if you pass those tests, that is the time they can let you into their country. Maybe there are some Christians who did it and then they failed the test. That's why. Maybe there are some Muslims who are majority of the Muslims are the one that do the test and proper pass it, because on that portion I cannot say anything about that. But the portion that I want you to understand is if refugees come to this country, they have to apply and they have to understand you are not in your country. Mm-hmm. You are in someone's country. So there are certain kinds of culture they cannot tolerate those kind of cultures. Mm-hmm. This is what our refugees to understand. This is what I want the entire Muslims and Christians to understand. If you go to Rome, do as Romans do, but that does not mean you will not. You are not entitled to do your, to worship your God, because, America, they don't ban nobody to worship your God, but what people need to understand, especially right now, is bringing some kind of small argument with the Muslim community since it started in France about all this, I don't know, debating, I don't know how they call it, covering all your faces, Mm-hmm. This,
Now,
yes.
I have a question for you. So you tell me that according to what you said, the Christians, they had to do the same test of the Muslims to become refugees, and maybe they failed the test, so 99% of the Muslims were able to come and only one Christian came. That's what I'm just talking about my mind. Maybe not a refugee. Listen, I don't think.
Yes, maybe not. Because I talked to a Somalian refugee. He told me that there's a test that they normally give you, and there are some questions that they normally ask you. So when you pass those questions, that's the question that they normally send here. If you approve, then they give you.
Maybe there is more. Listen, let's have an open mind. Let's have an open mind, okay? Because I don't take any parts. Don't you think maybe there is an agenda? After all, President Obama.
To be honest with you, I don't know if there's agenda there. Maybe, I have no idea.
Okay, but strange though that 99%, according to the State Department, they were Muslims and only 1% were Christians. This Christian must be very stupid, for God's sake. If all the Muslims, they pass the test and only one Christian passed it, I start to believe maybe the test is too difficult for Christians. I'm being sarcastic here, okay? Okay, anyway, exactly. I'm just trying to have an open mind and everything. Now, I want to ask you something. On this show, I don't believe in left and right. I believe in right or wrong. I believe in freedom and tyranny. And of course, I also believe that both parties, they are control at the top level, and they are doing exactly the same thing. Okay, that's where I'm coming from. Now, I don't know politically where you stand, but I would like to ask you, did you support President Obama during the election?
To be honest with you, yes.
Okay.
But there are some stuff that President Obama is doing right now which I do not support.
Okay.
But to be honest with him, I support it.
Tell me exactly the things that you do not support. Let's see what you think he failed you.
Yeah, you know, using drone, killing innocent people, you know, thousands of people right now because of this drone. The drone is killing too much of people that, you know, they are innocent, you know, and bombing of Syria and all this nonsense that they are doing. Because most of the time, all what I saw on TV is the bomb is just hitting on innocent people. But no, you know, but all what I hear on the news, they say, Obama administration say, okay, we killed ISIS this, we killed this, we killed that, but where are the proof? We don't see all those proofs, but the only proof that we see are the innocent people that are dying. That is what I do not accept, you know, because, you know, and then from there also there's another part that, you know, I do not support because, President Obama, you know, and his government, they put a sanction on the Gambian government because according to President Obama and his government that they say the president put some homosexuals in prison. That's why they put a sanction on that government, you know. So, yeah, so I don't think that is fair because, you know, what I think President Obama should do, you know, they should not put a sanction because of the Gambia government put some gay people in prison, you know, because you know people were accusing the Gambia government too much of shit, you know, that you know is more than, you know, putting gay people in.
I understand.
Sanction on them. So why they're going to put just few gay people in prison? So right now the American government are saying, okay, we have to put a sanction on them, which, you know, I don't think is fair. But I know, and what I understand too, the Gambia government, I think, on my own opinion, I don't think they have to put gay people in prison, you know. I don't, you know, it's because of that who they are. That's who they are. You know, I don't think nobody should put gay people in prison because of they are gay, or no government have the right, you know, to put other people in prison. I don't think that is okay. I'm just talking about my mind. So I don't know how other people.
Ebou, let me tell you something. You know, I really believe you're a great guy, you know, and I like to talk to you. But I just think, according to, you follow your heart, you follow the idea that we're supposed to respect each other, and I'm with you, okay? I'm completely with you there, even though we may have different beliefs. The only thing, if I had to judge you by your book, okay, you're not exactly 100% Muslim, okay? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I always say, because, you know, just like what you say,
they would chop your head in Saudi Arabia. Ebou, you would be chopped in pieces. In Saudi Arabia, they would chop you as a little, you know, stuffed meat, okay?
Yeah, there you go, because there is, that's why I say, you know what, I'm a Muslim, but I'm scared of Sharia myself.
Okay, that's great. At least I used to have, let me tell you something,
you know, as you say on your, you know, on your show, I consider myself as a Muslim, and I am a Muslim. I'm going to do my 5 daily prayer. I'm going to love people. I will accept people of who they are. I will give charity, and, you know, I'm going to go with my normal life, you know.
Okay, that's great.
If I do anything wrong, that is between me and God.
Excellent, excellent. And I agree with you. This is exactly the way I also live my religion. I don't go out and tell people how to live their life. I go by minding my business, and I
know some Muslims who are Muslim, they drink alcohol. I know some Muslims who are Muslim, they smoke weed, you know. But, you know, that does not mean that, you know, I have to judge them of you smoking alcohol, or you drinking alcohol, you go to hellfire, because God said that if I don't forgive you guys, none of you guys will go to heaven. So, you know, so that will show you guys how, how to say this? Okay, that will show you, okay, how mercy is Almighty God. You see? Just do you, and also there's a verse in the Quran. God said that, you know, follow your religion and leave other people to follow their religion. Don't tell other people your religion is bad. Don't say, and don't judge people. You know?
But let me ask you something. You just brought something important. I'm trying to understand. For example, one thing that according to the Quran says, or at least this is about the Bukhari, and IBN Ishaq. I don't know exactly what it means, but for example, there was is permitted stealing from unbelievers. And also another important thing, I know that in all the countries that they follow the Sharia law, according to the Quran, if you are not, let's say, a Muslim, you must pay a tax, the dhimma. So that's, they let you have your religion, but you cannot, let's say, express it in like you could do, like you if you are a Muslim, you cannot even build a church, and more important, you have to pay a tax to the Muslim government if you are not a Muslim. That's the options that you have, and this is not me saying it. This is a public official law directly from your books. Are you familiar with the dhimma?
No, I don't never hear that, but I don't never hear that, but I have no idea on that.
I tell you exactly, you can find it in different parts. This is, I tell you also the passages if you want. But the point is, I like the way you look at your religion, and, you almost make it a new religion, in my opinion, and maybe not, but, you respect the other people, and that's great. You don't go out and judge others, and you live in peace with everybody. That's great. I love that. And that's why we have this conversation. But I'll tell you, here in front of me, as I said, I read the books, okay? I don't go anything by what I read. And people can say, okay, I don't like this passage, I don't like that. Like I know many Christians, they pick and choose what they want to do. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you're a good Christian. You need to follow your New Testament, okay? And don't get me wrong, we may make sin, and we may ask to God forgiveness. But if you want to be a good follower of your religion, you must live by your book. And there are a lot of parts on your book, I'm telling you, they freak me out a little bit, because,
That's true. That's why I'm still telling you that I do not want to live in a country where they have Sharia law.
Yeah, but my point is only one. My point is only one. I wish more people like you would come here, and we can all live in peace, and we all can respect each other. You got brain, you understand that you want to have your freedom, and at the same time you're a reasonable person, and you understand that there are some parts of the book that, they try to push sometimes. They are part that they have violence, and we don't want to accept that, and that's great. You're a reasonable person. But unfortunately, you know very well, my friend, that there are people coming from part of the world that they have not much education, they don't have a chance to see the rest of the world, and they were raised since they were children with this type of belief system to read by letter everything, memorize it, and apply it. Now, when you bring a number of that, they don't have a chance to assimilate. Like we were saying before, you come to Rome, you live like Romans, okay? I go to Gambia, I live like a Gambian, and that's it. I come to America, you live like an American, okay? But if you don't have the type of assimilation, you don't have the type of numbers that they cannot become a majority, they must become some sort of a mix. Then we have a problem. We may wake up, me and you, maybe 10 years from now, in a neighborhood, that they're going to say, you know what, now we want to do Sharia law. No more beer, no more that, no more women, no more whatever, and everybody must comply. Otherwise, you know what, we put you in front of a judge, and the judge is one that is going to observe Sharia law. Unfortunately, it's happening in Europe, my friend. You know that in Sweden, they start to apply some part of the Sharia law, like in Sweden, and they try to push it also in some part, like in Texas. So that's my only concern, because not everybody is like you. That's my problem, I wish we could be...
that portion, what you say there is true. So, those people, if that is their belief, they want to bring Sharia in America, that depends to American, if they think that, okay, these people, they should have Sharia, we should give them that right for them to use it in Texas. Mm-hmm. That's Texas, because Washington State have different kind of some of their right and some of their law is different with Arizona.
No, I understand. No, listen. You're talking to somebody. I completely believe in the 10th Amendment. It's called the state power. But there is a problem. There is a problem. One second.
So now, if this Muslim minority say that they want to have a Sharia law here or you know, it depends to the federal government. If the federal government
Ebou, let me tell you something. It doesn't depend on any government. You as a human being, you have right. Even 99% of the people, they say that you don't, you still have. Okay, that's exactly what we have to need to remind each other and to the world. We are not a democracy, we are a constitutional republic. That's why we have a Bill of Rights. I don't care if 99.99% of my neighbors, they're going to go with Sharia law or Mormon laws or, you know, Catholic law, whatever. I do what I think is right for me. I have freedom of speech. I have the Second Amendment. I have all the rest of Bill of Rights. So that's exactly my fear is that unfortunately, we've been brainwashed that we are a democracy, and then when we have people in start to vote politicians that they're gonna follow their religious agenda, we may have to face now. After all, 51% of the people voted for Sharia law. We must go for it because this is a democracy. No, this is not a democracy because we're supposed to have a right. Even if you're just 1 against 100, nobody going to deny you your freedom of speech. Nobody's supposed to deny you your freedom to defend yourself and to own property and life. Okay, that's the bottom line. So that's and that's my problem. Sometimes you got people that come from, like, it's not just the Muslim. Even, for example, people come from Europe or come from I don't know, countries like Mexico that they use that they are a democracy. They're brainwashed with this word, and they think, okay, we go there, we vote, and you know, they vote, they all control anyway with the machine and with the media, the propaganda. So 51% of the people tomorrow can say you, for example, as a human being, you have no right to exercise your freedom of speech. Hey, it was the law. I don't care. I don't care about that law. For me, that law is null and void. So, but unfortunately, that's the fear that we need to be concerned. When we have people that they think they can vote us out of our unalienable rights, we have a problem. That's what we need to defend our freedom from. And unfortunately, don't get me wrong, this is not happening because now all the Muslims, they want to come to America. This is a plan to divide and conquer, created by the New World Order, by the globalists. They want to create this enemy, in my opinion, that they want to, of course, extremize, create this sort of, they propping it up. You know, like Al-Qaeda was created during the 70s, during the Carter administration, and then was funded by the Bush administration during the Afghanistan war. We know that. And so, this ISIS is funded by this administration. They need to have an enemy so they can remove our freedoms. They can put the Patriot Act. They can put, you know, the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012 with the clause of indefinite detention signed by Obama. Are you aware of it?
Yes, but what I want you to understand there, okay, I accept some of your
But think about it. They're using us against
Yeah.
each other to divide us and to create this enemy, and we know very well, these are facts. History will prove that we were right. 9/11 was a false flag. It's like, for example, don't get me wrong, they may have people that they like it, you know, the people jumping on the street, whatever. And, you know, I tell you something, if you start to drone the crap out of a country and people, innocent people die, you're gonna create terrorists. That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, that's a fact. I mean,
yeah, but
they're doing intentionally.
What I want you to understand, the word freedom of speech and democracy depend on a country and its people. So you cannot go to other parts of Africa. You say, okay, I'm going to, I will make sure here you have democracy and freedom of speech. If people are so brutally and people, they don't have that kind of mind.
Oh, of course. I would never go to Africa, my friend. I don't even go to Italy anymore because I would be arrested in few hours. You realize that?
So that's why you need to understand there are different countries, they don't respect freedom of speech and you know, and people and you know, people's right.
Exactly.
So
Ebou, that's why we are here in America.
So
Ebou, we are here in America, and I think every new American, every immigrant, refugee or not, should understand this basic concept that you have right until you infringe on somebody else's rights. You can believe in your dog, in your cat, in your God, whatever you want. You can have, in my opinion, you can have 10 women if you want. Honestly, I believe that the government, the federal government, I can tell you now, how many is mingling the marriage is wrong. You know, if I can afford it, I can have 5 wives, it's my business, okay, not government business. Of course, with the condition that there is no coercion, no force, and everybody's in love. That's great. Okay? But the point is we need to respect each other. That's the most important thing. At least I want to really thank you. You have no idea. I was sick today. I got cold and flu, but you made me feel better talking with you and exchanging ideas and proving the point that on this radio show we can talk about everything. And sometimes when we talk, we can find out that maybe we are not that different after all. You realize that?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it,
Thank you. At least my friendly little, brotherly, I don't want to give you, let's say, advice because I'm not body to advice, but little tip. When you do YouTube, don't bring the Amazon knife, okay? Maybe bring some other knife, okay? But don't bring knives at all. You were doing great. You were expressing yourself, regardless people may agree or not with you. The only thing, when you start to bring the knife in a conversation, can be misunderstood. And I understand now you explained to me with the circumcision, the manhood, blah, blah, blah. But people don't get that. Sometimes we don't know. Okay, so
exactly. Just thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. And I want to say, everybody out there, guys, listeners, please, I need your help. Okay, this show is supported by you, and I'm here because we can do exactly what we're doing. Everybody's welcome. If you come here, you have differences of opinion. Maybe we don't understand each other. I want you here. I give you first of the line, okay? But I need your support. Please, guys, go to my website, www.zanna.us. Zanna.us. You can download any of my songs, and with just 99 cents, you will keep the show free. And you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. Don't go away. Ready for our number 2. It's all about guns.
La 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 la.
The same, little every day. They're sucking our blood, they're stealing our lives away. If we are too busy, we're too afraid. We're already lost our soul, we're already their slaves. Now is the time, stand for our rights. Now is the time to pray and fight. Fight! Revolution, rebirth of a nation. Now it's our time to show who we really are. Revolution, a peaceful solution. But we're not afraid to stand for what is right. The day will come when we'll all be gone. What are we waiting for? Let's live with honor. Let's go, they've pushed our limits. Where's our pride? Are we already dead? Or are we still alive? Look at the mirror, go find your soul. You are the answer now. You go! Revolution, rebirth of a nation. Now it's our time to show who we really are. Revolution, a peaceful solution. But we're not afraid to stand for what is right. Revolution, rebirth of a nation.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.FM network. Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Don't forget also you can listen to all the shows, this show and the past shows on www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Now, this is the hour 2, second hour. It's about guns. And sometimes, we get trapped in, we have to talk about something that is not exactly like I would like to do, because this hour for me would be practical things. My final goal would be to empower every man, woman, or boy, anybody who has the opportunity and also the physical opportunity to hold a gun, a law-abiding person, to empower himself to be able to defend his life and the innocent life and defend his republic. So I try to give you my humble way, every tool I can, information, and bringing guests, more important, that they know more than I do, to give you this type of information so you can try to be encouraged to do the right decision. Now, sometimes, as like Sunday, we have to talk a lot about also we are under attack. This gun rights, the Second Amendment is under attack. Today, finally, I would like to talk about something a little more specific and practical that I wanted to talk to you last Sunday. We've been talking a lot about shotgun, rifle, handgun, the different purpose, every tool has a different purpose. That's the bottom line. And as I said, in my opinion, you should have everything you can. Start with the handgun. But sometimes people try to do the best they can according to their budgets. So today I would like to focus a little bit more about what is the best tool for the situation, for the specific situation. And sometimes, people focus a lot on the shotgun. Think like the shotgun is going to be everything. Yes, the shotgun can be the tool that defends your castle, the tool that's going to be for, let's say, these intermediate distances. But I would like to analyze a little more the different opportunity that you can have when you have the specific tool for the job. So there is also, between the rifle and the shotgun, there is another element, another tool, is called the carbine. So let's try to talk a little bit with somebody that I really respect a lot, is a man that is dedicated his life in learning not just how to reload rounds, but also how to shoot rounds. He's called himself as a professional shooter. Is Tim. Tim, are you there?
Yes, Luca. How are you today?
Very good. Let's get also your last name, Tim Siewert. Please briefly, just tell us a little bit, where are you right now, and your little background when it comes down to shooting.
Well, I started to learn how to shoot when I was about 11 years old. I started with what I think everybody should start with, and that's a 22. Shooting what's used to be referred to as 22 gallery shooting at 50 feet, slow fire. When I was in the Boy Scouts, the Boy Scouts used to have a program, a marksmanship program, and you shot at 50 feet with a 22 bolt-action single-shot rifle. And that's when I started to learn the basics of marksmanship, and just went from there. Basically, I was in the high school ROTC program the whole time I was in high school, and they had marksmanship training in high school, and I went from there into the Marine Corps, and have been shooting NRA competitive rifle shooting for better than 35 years.
Wow. And this is the point, Unfortunately, I realize that now the average shooter out there, just because they think they have a rifle, they consider themselves riflemen. Maybe they don't even know anymore what the rifleman is. The point is that the rifle, it is not just something that is there and makes you automatically to become a rifle. There is also some qualification. There are also some sort of a standard that you need to achieve. And today I would like to talk with you specifically for the average guy out there, the average woman that is trying to understand that really we're living in a new America, that the times are dangerous now more than ever. And we need to be prepared for every type of scenarios, from the economic turmoil, could be a civil unrest, could be a riot, could be a home invasion more than ever because crime is going up, and could be also some domestic terrorists imported from overseas or wherever they're coming from. So we need to be more prepared than ever, and I believe that now we should give them at least all the options to see the different tools available, and of course, after they buy them, and they should start to realize that they need to train with them. So, like for example, if somebody just buy a gun And they think now just because the gun is loaded and is on the close to your bed, that doesn't make you a better shooter. You need to practice. Same story if you have a shotgun, same story if you have a rifle. So I would like to do with you today a little brief a conversation like we were doing a few days ago over the phone about what type of tool would you suggest for different scenarios. Now, I always say the handgun is to defend your person, the shotgun is to defend your castle, and the rifle is to defend freedom and also this country, in my opinion. Now, there is also something between that we forgot. For example, the carabine. Many people maybe don't even know what a carabine is. Maybe you can help out with the definition of what is a carabine, if you don't mind.
Well, a carbine is defined in the military sense as a intermediate range weapon, and it's usually chambered for what's also referred to as an intermediate cartridge, where the 308 Winchester, that's the commercial version, the 7.62 by 51 NATO round, that's a full-size rifle round, and the 30-06, that's a full-size rifle round. The 8mm Mauser, that's another full-size rifle round. Where a carbine is a slightly less powerful cartridge. For instance, the 7.62 by 39. Believe it or not, the 223 Remington, which is the 5.56 NATO round, that's, as far as I'm concerned, falls into the carbine target category. And also, traditionally, the 30 carbine cartridge, which is what the M1 carbine, the World War II Korean War vintage lightweight small rifle carbine was chambered for. And those weapons are initially, they're pretty much intended for anywhere from 50 yards to maybe at the most 200 yards. The sights on the M1 carbine were only graduated out to 300 yards.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The actual term carbine was originated in the 19th century, again, for short-length rifles, which were usually issued to cavalry and artillery units. They had a shorter barrel length, where back then in the 19th century, a typical rifle many times had anywhere from a 33 to a 40-inch barrel, and the carbine versions, the carbine version of the 1873 Springfield rifle, had a 24-inch barrel, believe it or not, which is now considered a standard rifle barrel length.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the term originated.
Exactly. So I would like to give some practical ideas to people, especially people who live in town, in cities, okay? I mean, you need to consider your environment to defend your life, to defend also your castle. You need to realize where you're living. Let's say, for example, if you live like myself in some sort of a rural area, I don't need to worry about my neighbor. At that point, I may consider every type of cartridge. But if you live in an apartment building, or if you live in a town where you have your home, but you know that a few years after you there is another wall with another house, you need to consider also what you're shooting. Maybe even that AK-47 7.62 by 39 round would be too powerful, will go through walls. So that's why also the carabine could be an idea of any solution. But you were saying before, what would be, we were having a conversation, let's see if I remember exactly how and when we came to the point. What is the best solution if you have to engage somebody, let's say, between 0 and 50 yards, And you mentioned the shotgun, right?
Yes.
And let's think about the shotgun is very important too, but also has some limitations. I mean, if you're trained with a shotgun, it's one of the most powerful tools that you have. At the same time, you have a couple of little down things, like first of all, you're limited in the number of rounds that you can put inside the average shotgun, between 6 and 7, depends on what you have, but the point is also you need to be able to cycle it correctly, that not the average person, I don't think, trains enough I hear a lot of people that they have shotguns, but I wonder if they even can be able to do some emergency reloads, or even just to be able to cycle it in a fast way. So it takes a little extra training. Sometimes I was thinking about in these type of situations where you have I don't know, I don't want to put down women, but let's say a person that normally doesn't train much, could be also a man, okay, in a house by themselves with a shotgun. Maybe there's not the main, could be my best personal, I'm not even going to call advice, or let's say humble opinion. I would say maybe a carabine with 30 rounds that you don't need to worry about to do emergency reload. That would be something to consider. What do you think about that?
Well, actually, a carbine may be good if you live alone, if you have your own house. But you have to understand that even the bullets out of a carbine, whether it be a 7.62 by 39, a 223, or even a 30 carbine, they're going to go through some stuff.
Yes.
Where a shotgun. Okay, here's the thing. This is why I have told people for such a long time. Whenever somebody, as a matter of fact, I just started another section on my website, a question and answer page where I've had a number of questions posed to me via my website and over the years. And a lot of times people ask me what I think is the best weapon for home defense, and I always tell them a 12-gauge shotgun. And the reason why is because where a shotgun is a two-hand weapon, just like a carbine is, but you can load a shotgun with what's referred to as trapper skeet loads, where the shot charge is either 7.5, 8, or 9 shot, and that shot charge will not penetrate through 2 layers of drywall.
Exactly, that's true. That's very true. And
so you don't have to. Consequently, you don't have to worry about injuring any of your family members who may be in another room when you're taking out a bad guy.
Exactly.
Okay, but those same target loads, and people think, oh well, it's just a target load. As somebody who's not familiar with a trap load or trap or skeet load that's loaded with 7.5, 8s, or 9s, the muzzle velocity on that shot charge out of a 12 gauge, it's still 1,200 feet per second, and you're talking about a 1 ounce
of lead,
1 ounce pile of lead traveling at 1,200 feet per second. There aren't very many handgun rounds that have that much energy, and that's going to put just about anybody, in a world of hurt.
Yeah, that's true. They would stop him on the track. At least just the pressure. I mean, just the impact, and even if it doesn't go that deep, it would be devastating. And that's the point. Whatever you need. I mean, that's the ideal solution. I agree with you. The only thing is, guys, if you women, everybody, if you find that you have a shotgun, you gotta really train, especially if you have the pump action. That takes a little bit of extra practice to synchronize that cycling of the pump. I mean, that's very important. And but I like to also start to think, think like when you go out for dinner or you go out to work. Everybody has a different type of situations, and normally you wear different type of shoes. And I always look at that at my guns in the same way. There is not an ideal gun for everything. There is a gun for every situation, like you would have a different pair of shoes for every type of circumstances. So I think the shotgun definitely would be a great tool to have, especially if you are in an environment that you are in a defensive situation, that you are, let's say, in your home, in your bedroom, somebody tried to breach the door, and you got a great spot. That would be the most devastating thing you can give them at close distance. If you can. And also, they're very affordable. I mean, there are a lot of prices out there. You can find shotguns for $200 and less. But if you,
absolutely. Go ahead.
What is your shotgun? If you have any shotgun you would like to recommend, no problem about the money. I mean, let's spend the money once. Let's spend it right. What is your shotgun you would personally suggest to our listeners?
It just so happens that I have just just recently, just within the last few days, or actually just within the last week, okay, I've done some research online, and there's a website. I believe it may be linked. It may be like a sister website of Craigslist. It's called Arms List. Are you familiar with it?
No, but I'm glad you told me because I'm going to go check it out right now. Go ahead.
Arms List. It's a nationwide listing, and anybody can list on it. It's free to list on it. I've listed a couple of things for sale. I've sold a couple of things for sale on Arms List. There's listings in all 50 states. If you go on there, I was just on there. There are tons and tons of Remington 870 shotguns for sale in the $250 to $350 range.
Wow.
And these are, a lot of them are virtually brand new.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Remington 870, as far as I'm concerned, and this is what I wrote in my article on my website, if I had one. The Remington 70, as far as I'm concerned, it's now the current manufactured best shotgun you can get. The only other option that I would recommend would be a decent double-barrel shotgun, and again in 12 gauge. The only advantage that a Remington 870 or a pump shotgun may have over a double barrel is obviously more round capacity. But with a double barrel, there's a lot of double barrels out there for sale now that are really reasonable, like you said, in the $200 price range, where they'll have automatic ejectors and a single trigger, where all you have to do, and how the gun functions, is that you pull the trigger one time, one of the barrels will shoot, and then you pull the trigger the other time, and the other barrel will shoot. So you have two rounds of 12 gauge available just by pulling the trigger with a double barrel side by side shotgun. And like I said, they're very reasonable out there. There's a ton of them.
Let me remind please. Remind please people your website so people can also go read your articles, please.
My online magazine is www.1776men.com. That's www.176men.com. It's an online magazine. It's free. I maintain it. It's always free. It's my way of getting information out there, and there is a lot of stuff on my website. My webmaster has put a lot of work into building our website.
Perfect.
And so that's one of the articles on there. I entitled it "If I Had One." It's a 3-part article based on my experience of over 40 years being passionate about firearms as I am. So anyway, getting back to the shotguns, my personal belief, I believe that the best shotgun ever made in history is the Model 12 Winchester. And the reason why is because you can take a Model 12 Winchester, and I've actually even done this, drop it in a mud puddle, pick it up, and it'll still function. They are Timex watches. But the only thing, and the other thing is you cannot, it's almost impossible to wear out a Model 12 shotgun because of the way it's built and the way there's a ring on the chamber that you can adjust if the headspace gets to be too warm. And I go into that in detail, how that is, and how the Model 12 is built in that article.
Let me give you one second.
Remington 870 is the second best as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so you got first one Model 12 Winchester, then you got the Remington 870, and I'm going to ask you now, what do you think about the Mossberg 590, according to your opinion?
Well, I think they're okay. I honestly, I haven't had any experience with them because I just have, I have a Model 12 and I have a couple of 870s.
Okay.
So.
Listen, at this point, I think they're all very reliable products. I mean, I have, for example, my favorite shotgun that I have is the 590 with the gauze strings. and it's the 590A1. Technically, it's the military version. They are all metal parts. There is no plastic. But you can also get, for example, at the Big Five, there are some civilian version of 590. They are great. I mean, they are really well done, in my opinion. And you can get anybody out there. You cannot get wrong. If you get a Remington S70, or if you get a Winchester, or if you get a Mossberg, I think that would probably outlast your life. Now, the point is,
well,
go ahead, please.
Well, you know, I'm sure the 590 is a very well built gun. I have handled one. They do look very well built. I know they have a lifetime warranty, just like a lot of other firearms are. I'm not, you know, that's just my personal preference. And I also have to say, you know, the Winchester Model 12, they haven't been made in over 50 years. They stopped making those in 1964, so they are quite a collector's item.
Yes. What I know about the 590? Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
What I would say, why the reason why at the beginning, years ago, when I started to explore the idea to get my first shotgun, I went for the Mossberg 590. I was because according to the different type of studies, more important, the test, the 590 Mossberg was the official shotgun used by military police and passed also the military test for the U.S. Marine at the time. And so we went through some military standard that they had to go through. I'm talking about the military version. So, but I tell you, the Remington didn't go through the test, but doesn't mean that it's less. I think they are all great. All I know that for me was, at the time, being not very much experience when I bought my first shotgun years ago, I wanted to find a gun that was tested according to military standard. So I was pretty happy about that. Go ahead.
Well, you have to understand that both the Mossberg 500 series, 590, and the Remington 870, they have what's referred to as twin action bars. There is a bar on each side of the slide that actuates the bolt. And that's what makes them so reliable, is that the bolt, when, say you're in a stressful environment and you get, dirt or something into the action, the bolt, because of the twin action bars on both the 500 series Mossberg shotguns and the 870 Remingtons, the bolt won't bind. And that's what's so good about them, where that was the one thing about Model 12 Winchesters, is that there was only one action bar that's on the side of the receiver opposite the ejection port.
Mm-hmm.
That's attached to the slide that actuates the action. But other than that, they're all great shotguns. And having said all that, actually, I think the best gun is the one that you have when you need it.
Exactly. You're right. And the one you train with, regardless, guys. I mean, you can have the most expensive, the most perfect weapon out there. If you don't spend time with it, if you're not familiar with it, it doesn't become like almost an extension of your body. And you must be completely like in training mode. You don't think anymore. You must do all these things. I really advise, I don't want to advise because I'm not in the situation to advise anybody, but I would like to, as a brotherly, friendly tip, if you buy a shotgun, buy some shot shell, like for dry practice, like the dummies round, okay? They are made of aluminum normally, and they pretty much feel like real ammunition. And start to get familiar, because you don't want to play around with the shotgun in your house with live ammo, okay, unless you load it up and you let it stay there. So buy these dummy rounds. They are very affordable, and you can start to practice even just the easiest thing, even the thing that you think they're normal. For example, like how to load that gun, how to unload that gun. If you need to switch round, this emergency switch. If you want to switch from, for example, from back shots, you want to go to light load, or if you want to go to slug. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the shotgun. You can change very quickly what type of load you have, and it's very much important, this type of versatility that you have, because I tell you, it's one of the most powerful, I think it's the most powerful tool we have at close distance. With 1 ounce of slug made of lead, I mean, you can knock down a car easily. And there are, by the way, for the shotgun, also some specific ammunition that I would like to share with you briefly, because I think this is, for me, one of the most, almost the best secret that everybody could afford for shotgun, okay? I tell you right now, I'm going right now to the site normally where I buy them, and I think they are really good to think about it. You go to sgammo.com, and if you find them somewhere else, that's fine, okay? But this is the place where I used to find them, and now they're kind of a little more expensive, but they're still probably more affordable than what you could do in an emergency situation. These are called the Duplex, and they are exactly, let me tell you the brand right now. I'm going there right now. Let's see, okay, let's see if they have them anymore, because they are really hard to get. Anyway, here we go. They're called the DOUPLEKS, Duplex. The monolith 28, okay? 1 ounce slug made of steel, okay? I mean, think about 1 ounce made of steel. I don't know exactly why you need those, maybe to hunt, I don't know, dinosaurs, but elephants, but whatever they are. This is what, instead of making of lead, they make this type of rounds. It's called the DUPLEKS. You go to sgammo.com in the shotgun ammo, the monolith 28 1 ounce slug, AM1933. I know that all these numbers sound crazy, but you go there, you can get a box for $7. I know they're a little pricey. You get a discount if you get 50 or more. But you have 1 ounce of steel that you can almost face any type of, let's say, even somebody with a body arm or somebody completely behind a wall. That stuff is powerful. Did you ever heard about this type of rounds?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Did you ever show them?
I've never shot any.
Yeah.
You could almost use them. I mean, a 1 ounce chunk of steel.
Yeah.
You could definitely mess up a car's engine with one of those.
Yes. So in a survival situation, in an emergency situation, that would be an incredible tool. For a few dollars, you have something that you can have a lot of variety. You know, as you were saying, you want to be prepared to be sure and safe in your house. You don't want to over-penetrate, so you can use bird shots or target shots. Then you can go to bigger round, like double O, the buck shots. And then, of course, you have the slug, the regular slug made of lead. I mean, very powerful, don't get me wrong. But then you have something like that even with the most powerful rifle, 308, you don't have 1 ounce of steel coming towards you. I mean, from 0 to 100 yards, that would be like very, very powerful. So I tell you, guys, the shotgun definitely is something that I would always have in my tools of emergency situation that could be for anything. And you can also, don't forget, if you need to eat, the shotgun, you can get food for you and your family almost in every situation. So something to consider. Let me give some prices out there. You know, I like to go out on the websites and I like to shop around like I would shop for me to try to find the best deals. And I remind to the listeners, I'm not trying to pitch anybody here. I don't get paid by anybody. I just want to really honestly give you what I think I would buy for myself. Okay? There is a place that normally I like to buy stuff. It's a Sportsman Guide. The reason why I like them, first of all, they got decent prices. I think really good prices, at least on weapons. On ammunition, they used to have good prices. Unfortunately, the prices went up. But what I like about now, they're selling weapons. They also have a payment club for 4 payments. So you can buy a gun, they send it to you immediately. Of course, to your FFL dealer, and you make 4 payments with no interest once you become a member. You can become a member with $29. So, for example, one of my favorite shotgun, the Mossberg 590A1, okay, the one that is not exactly the one I have, but it's pretty close. You can get it as a member for $570, and you can make 4 payments of $144. Or you can get a beautiful Remington 870. This is the one, the deluxe, you know, the Marine Magnum. Okay, you are all stainless steel, so it's going to last you a lifetime. Especially if you live on, let's say, humidity area, like could be close to the ocean. You can get this shotgun for $640, and you can, of course, make 4 payments. So there is a lot of opportunities still there. But get something and get the training. Don't forget the dummy rounds. And more important, don't forget to find help. Don't be ashamed to ask for help when you don't know, because a shotgun can be a tool that is devastating, not just for the enemy, for the bad person, but also for yourself. You make a mistake with a shotgun, your foot is going to be blown off, even if you have just a little bird shots. Okay, so you cannot play. You cannot be underestimating it. It's a very dangerous tool. I mean, the handgun, don't get me wrong, you can hurt, but normally people don't die by handgun shot immediately. With a shotgun, you would die. Okay, 90% of the situation, you may die immediately or pretty fast. Don't you agree with me? It's kind of dangerous stuff.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely. And since we're talking, you had mentioned about training. As far as training with a shotgun, I would recommend going to a local gun club, wherever you live, and starting to shoot trap and skeet and what's referred to as sporting clays. All three of those disciplines, at least do it occasionally, because as far as I'm concerned, the shotgun is what you should be using for a moving target, unless, of course, unless it's out beyond 100 yards. But if you're talking about training for, home defense and that type of scenario, that you can't beat regular old trap shooting or skeet shooting or sporting clays for giving you the opportunity to train under controlled environment. And that's what you really need for training in general. I know that's one of the things we talked about when we were talking a few days ago on the phone, and people really need to get out there and train, but you can't just go out there and just create, put a bunch of smoke into the air, as one guy I used to know used to put it. You need to train in a controlled environment. And I wrote another short article on my website, and it's entitled Target Shooting versus Training.
Good idea. Tell me more about that. Very important topic. Please go ahead.
And there is a difference. Target shooting can be viewed as training, but training is something more. Training is more shooting with a specific mindset. And target shooting, when I go target shooting, that's my purpose. My purpose is to hit the target. I'm focused on doing everything correctly, particularly when I'm rifle shooting. I'm focused on the basics all the time. My position, my breathing, follow through, everything. Where training is a little bit different. Wherein you need to focus on those things, but you also need to focus on, what am I doing? It's difficult to explain. It took me a lot to write that article, but I go into it in detail in the article.
Tim, give me 1 second. Give again the name of the website so where people can find the article. I think the best way people should read it.
www.1776men.com. That particular article I just mentioned was Target Shooting versus Training.
Perfect. And let me give you my two little input about this, because I exactly understand what you're saying, because I went through this process myself, okay? At the beginning, it's like your little baby. We are like little babies, and we try to learn, first of all, how to walk. And that's the only energy, our focus is just say, okay, I want to do this thing right. Okay, I want to walk without falling. So, at the beginning, let's say if you are a new shooter, okay, out there, focus on doing all the different type of movements, first of all, safely and correctly, and to be able to hit the target on demand. That's normally the first stage. We just try to learn how to do it right and safe. Then, when you pass that stage, that you're familiar with that type of basics, okay, the fundamentals, we need to evolve. We need to start to think we don't have a gun just to, you can be fun, that's great, but normally I don't go to the range and shoot just for fun. I have there with a purpose. I have a goal. what do I want to accomplish today? First thing I want to accomplish, I want to try to recreate a life scenario that, God forbid, I had to use the weapon in that situation. So I try to make it realistic as possible. So instead of wasting rounds and just, as you say, your friend, just making noise or a bunch of smoke, let's start to give a purpose. When I go to train with my handgun, I don't shoot more than 50 rounds, and I last about at least 2 hours, believe it or not. Because what I do, first of all, every time I shoot a live round or a set of, for example, control pair, 2 rounds, I do at least 20 dry practice for every time I shoot live. If it is with a rifle or if it's with a handgun or with a shotgun. Reasons why? Because I can always, first of all, see better what I'm doing. I can understand if I'm doing something wrong, and then at that point, I can have more muscle memory without wasting $1,000 every time I go to the range. Number one. Number two, let's try to get emotional. Let's try to recreate what the type of adrenaline, because if you are all happy and smoking a cigar and smiling and you're shooting at the paper target, that's not real life. We need to start to think somebody's trying to kill us, our adrenaline is going crazy, and maybe our wife or our babies or whatever, they're in danger, and we gotta do something. So you're gonna be trembling, you're gonna be probably tired, you're gonna be probably in the dark, maybe you're gonna have your main firing hand is gonna be maybe out of business, and you may shoot with the support hand. Recreate life scenarios. And maybe the target is not gonna be standing in front of you at 7 yards smiling, so maybe it's moving. So, without getting into details, try to become realistic and have a purpose. And don't just think because you hit your target every time you want it at 7 yards or maybe 100 yards with your rifle, you're ready to go. That's just the first stage. So have fun, have some sort of, fantasy. Let's try to be creative and what's more important, get a timer, because, another thing I realize people when they go out there, they think they have all the time they want to shoot. Meanwhile, the target is shooting back at you. I mean, the opponent is going to shoot back at you, okay? So, and start to think also that you need to move. So there are a lot of different things that normally we don't do during the average day at the range unless we think about it. And I would like to say one thing about Tim. Spread up around some ideas. Everybody should have a gun. We know that. And whatever gun you get, try to be a gun that you rely on. It's reliable, and of course you train with. Then we were talking about shotguns, and I gave you some ideas. You can get a Mossberg 590, you can get a Remington A7, you can get a Winchester, you can get a double barrel, whatever you have, you train. Then we were talking about carabine. Probably many of you already guys says that the AR-15. That would be okay, but there are also cheaper, in my opinion, cheaper solution. Not means that they are bad, but they are more affordable. I would call it more affordable solutions, especially for people that they are on budget. Did you ever heard about the High Point carabine, Tim?
Yes, I have. I haven't had any personal experience with them, but I am familiar with them. I have heard of them, yes. Okay,
because I have few of those. I have the 9mm and the 45. I have a couple of 9s. And for example, I tell you something, they're really good. I mean, especially if you get a 45 carabine from High Point. It's an American brand. They are very affordable. You can get a 45 carabine for about $300 and change, okay? And the beautiful thing about it, they have a lifetime warranty. No question asked. I saw torture videos that people does on YouTube, and then they, of course, after, they put it in the dirt and they blast it. I mean, the company is behind the product 100%. They fix it for you or they send you another one. And more important, they're very reliable. They're not pretty. Maybe they're not as fancy as an AR-15, but they shoot, for me, something very important. Let's say in a home environment, like we were saying, let's say you want to keep things simple, and you want to stay, first of all, with the same caliber of your pistol. When you get, for example, an high-point carabine, you can get also the 45, that if you buy the 45 high-point gun, is an ugly monster, but it works. You can buy the 45 for about $150. I mean, that's pretty good price for a working man. I think everybody can afford that. You have an incredible solution. You can have a carabine and a pistol. They share the same magazine and the same ammo. And 45 is a great caliber that really for home defense would be, I think, a great opportunity. You can also get a carabine, for example, High Point in 9mm. And that's a great gun. I'm telling you, for $240, cheaper than a handgun. So something to consider. for people maybe that, they need to find something between immediately, even cheaper than a handgun, guess what? The carabine is something to not forget. And of course, training. That's the most important thing. What type of, what is your shotgun that you have normally close to you? I don't know. I don't want to say close to you, but what is your shotgun always available? The Remington or the Winchester? What you were talking before?
Oh, I have actually I have one of each. I have a Winchester Model 12, and mine is it's an authentic U.S. What's referred to as a guard gun, and it's got a 20-inch barrel on it. And then I have an 870 with an extended magazine and a 20-inch barrel. And I wanted to say one thing: do not cut any shotgun barrel. It doesn't, it doesn't do anything for you. All it does is increase the recoil. That's all. Because even if you have a shotgun with an 18 or 20-inch cylinder choke barrel, at 15 yards, that shot pattern is going to be about 2 feet in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to cut the barrel off of any shotgun.
And don't forget also, I'm not here trying to tell you the laws, but at federal law, you gotta be very careful. If that shotgun, it goes less than 18.1 or whatever it is inches, you need to have a special, class 3A or whatever, distracted device or whatever. It's a federal ATF license. Otherwise, you become a felon. Don't mess around with the barrel, because you're really gonna play in a very dangerous territory, in my opinion. And speaking about barrels, it's very important. Everybody is a different body type. You may be, a big guy or a regular guy, probably 20 inches barrel, it's great. But if you're like, for example, a lady, or if you are a smaller person, first of all, start to consider that you want to go with a smaller version, for example, like the 18 inches barrel. That would be the first thing. And don't forget, there are also some special loads made exactly for low recoils. So don't be afraid to think, hey, I want to have a round that for my body type. I believe that if you train, if you know how to put that stock correctly on your shoulder, and you know how to grip it right, with the right type of stance, no problem with even the average shots, with the loads. We'll be fine. But, sometimes little help would be important. So you can get low recoil type of back shots, of course, and then also don't forget the different type of light loads we were talking about. But get the shotgun that fits your body. That's very important. Now, we were talking about something. You write a book. You're a book author, by the way. You are very good into the reloads of rifles, especially for the M1A or M14 military version. Your book is out. It's Christmas. I know you wanted to give some sort of a special offer to our listeners. Please go ahead.
Yes, I actually have 2 books written. They're also listed on my website. If you go to the home page of the website, you'll see photographs of both of the front cover of both of my books. My first book was Reloading the Basics. It's everything somebody needs to know to get started into reloading. And not only is it my first book just what to do, but how to do it, in what order, and why do it's one thing that why are you doing what you're doing? And I think the reason why I put that in my book was because I think people learn better when they know why they're doing what they're doing. And then my second book is entitled Reloading Beyond the Basics. That's everything else concerning reloading that you can do to make target-grade ammunition. I go in, there's a couple of chapters entitled Advanced Case Preparation, Advanced Loading Techniques. There's 14 chapters in my second book. It's 100 pages long. There's information in my second book that you will not find anywhere else. And it's interesting that, we were talking about shotguns, and I wanted to ask you, there's one specific shotgun load that is not available anywhere, to the true commercial ammunition, like if you wanted to have this particular load for your shotgun available, you would have to load it yourself. And that load is using flechettes. Do you know what those are, Luca?
Yes, the flechettes. They are kind of exotic weapon. I mean, they're like made of steel or metal anyway. They look like little arrows, correct?
Yes, they are actually steel darts, hardened steel darts that you can buy. And you can buy flechettes on the internet, and you can load your own shotgun flechette rounds. And they usually come in two lengths, 1 inch and an inch and a half. And I recommend the inch and a half version. And you even can find loading information on the internet about how to load shotgun shells with flechettes.
What is the purpose? What would be the tactical purpose for a flechette, in your opinion?
Well, the flechette was originally designed to be a more accurate projectile for the shotgun. The military, they developed them during the 60s, and they had the GIs in Vietnam. They had shotgun ammunition loaded with flechettes, and they also had artillery rounds loaded with flechettes also.
Wow.
For use for repelling what they refer to as the human waves. But yeah, you can still buy flechettes online if you want to load them yourself.
They're hard to get, by the way. A place I used to see them, and I never bought them. I must tell you, I always I was pretty much simple getting to the basics, the 00 and slugs. But I was tempted about it. There is a flechette on Ammunition to Go, ammunitiontogo.com. Now they're out of stock, but something to consider. Why not? I mean, have a little fun. That's something at least to test would be great. Honestly, if I find them, I may look into that just because. It wouldn't be my main type of load I would carry, honestly, even for situations. I know that probably with the buckshots I would do everything I need to do, but why not? Good to have an open mind and have a little fun. Also, talking about your books, you have done all the job. You sell your book on Amazon, and it's Christmas is coming, and you want to give a special deal to the people that listen to the show, and I appreciate it because I said this is not something even I'm doing as a sponsor. This I'm just doing because I want to have every one of you listeners, seriously, they are law-abiding people and understand what's going on and believe that this republic is under attack. Our rights are under attack. We are the last line of defense. So I would like to have every person, even if I don't know you, I want you to have the best you can be. Your family, the most family that can be the most prepared can be, because more we are prepared, more we are trained, more we can stop individually, and at the same time together we can stop what's coming. It's already here. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm on the air. That's why I bring you people like Tim that's sharing this information and give you the opportunity. I mean, to reload, it's a vital skill in an emergency situation. You don't think you're going to buy your ammo at Walmart, because probably Walmart's going to be a FEMA camp, okay? Let's be honest here. So you better start to have, or you have at least 50,000 rounds sitting under your bed, or you may start to think that you may need to start to really collect that brass, and besides selling it, you may use it to reload it. So pick a way, So I don't reload, I do it the other way. But whatever people has time, or you don't have enough money to buy 100,000 rounds, you better start to think that reload, it's a vital skill. Use it. So please give him the deal that you told me you were going to give him. And I want to remind you that Tim is not my sponsor. I'm just having him here because, first of all, I respect him, and he's giving you great information. That's why I want him here. Go ahead, Tim.
Thank you, Luca, and thank you for reminding me about that. I would like to offer all of the listeners out there to Luca's program I'm running a special right now on my book. I have listed it on a couple of pages on Facebook, but the special is typically my two books. If you buy my two books on Amazon together, you're going to pay $57 for my two books on Amazon, and my standard price on my website is $47, including postage for both of my books. I have decided to offer my 2 books as a special for $40, including postage, to everybody and anybody listening to this program. If you go to my website and go to the contact page, you'll find my mailing address. If you send me $40, I will send you both of my books, and I will donate $1 to Luca's program. And how I'm keeping track of this is, if you have heard this on Luca's program, if you mention promo code 57.
Perfect. And, I will post also this information that you just told me. If you send me an email, I will post it on today's show. People can go to lovegunsfreedom.com. And seriously, I appreciate even the donation from Tim, but my only goal is I would like to have every American be able to be prepared. And if this now, they can start to cut off the importation of ammunition. We already have a big problems here with the capacity that this country can produce ammunition. So I think every home, every family man, every person that is able to be making ammunition, it's like almost a national asset. We're talking about real national defense here, okay? These bastards, they're trying now to disarm us, not just with the guns, but also to stop or maybe put taxes. They can start to put taxes on imports, on rounds that now they're affordable and available, could becoming like almost impossible to have. That's their goal. So we gotta really have as many Americans as possible out there to be able to be maybe the next local factory of ammunition. Maybe just in your block, in your neighborhood, you could be the person that could really start to produce ammo for the resistance. And I'm not talking this like it's a movie. This is real. Okay, I'm really mean it. That's why I want you guys, please, if you have a rifle, start to consider to reload. Unfortunately, I said myself, I don't want to sound like an hypocritical, but I do not reload anymore. I took a little promise to my mom. I'm not going to reload. I buy the ammo. I don't have the time. I don't have the patience. But I hope more people out there, they have the time and has the skills, they can reload, because we need you guys. We need you very much. Now, I would like to remind you also another important thing. This show is here on the air, first of all, because it's an act of love. I said many times. Sometimes it's very, for me, draining. I have so many things I have to do in my life, seriously. And I don't have any type of ambition to be on the air. I couldn't care less. Sometimes all I think about, all it does, it make me become a bigger target. I already am. And what is the gain? There is no gain, seriously. I have no ego. I don't care. I'm happy where I am. But I'm here because I realize the time is short. And even with my little humble radio show here, I'm trying to reach every one of you. If I can wake up one person, just one more person, I feel at least I'm doing something, because I may not be on the air longer. Things are going to get much, much worse the next few weeks and next few months. So I don't know. But I need your help. Till I'm on the air, I'm a regular person, and takes me a lot of energy out of my life and my business. So if you want to support the show, it's very simple. All you have to do, you go to www.zanna.art.com or zanna.us. You pick. And you can see one of the things I do for a living. One of the things, I write songs. I've been writing songs the last 15 years at least, since I came here, 17 years. I have more than 100 songs. And you don't need to be rich. You don't need to give me any charity. You can just buy for 99 cents any of my songs. And in this way, not only you buy a song that I hope you enjoy, but also you support the show. That's all I ask you, if you understand what I'm trying to do here. Simple as that. Meanwhile, I want to say, Tim, I want to thank you because, I always appreciate your input, your experience. And I want to thank your lady that she was the one that I think she put us in contact. She found me before you found me, correct?
Yes.
Very good. So I really appreciate that. Sometimes, one of the best things I found through the show, I met the best people out there that, for me, was the type of people when I came to America, I was idealizing. That doesn't mean that we need to agree on everything, but the point is, we have some belief system, some basic things that we believe that unfortunately now they're going to make us a target. So I'm proud to be your friend, Tim, and with your lady. Even we never met in person, we are on Facebook, but I really think it's the time that we need to start to find each other. That's the purpose of the show. And I want to remind you guys, if you are on the show, you can also go to my website. I have a website that I put together just for like-minded people. It's called freedomlovers.us. And you don't need to be a single. You don't need just to look for a date. It's just about being networking. Let's say if you have something to share, if you want to find who is in your neighborhood that thinks like you, it's free, 100% free. Of course, it's supported by my music and my work, but the point is it's free for you. You don't even need to put a credit card. Open an account. You can, if you don't want to put your photo, that's fine, but you can do everything you want there. You can have a section for free classifieds, a section for a blog. You can upload videos. You can sell stuff. You can have a chat room. You can have instant messenger. It's free. Use it till we have it. freedomlovers.us. And of course, if you're looking for a friendship, maybe why not? You can have also that opportunity, okay? So that's very important. Now, another important thing about guns, we had a lot of bad news, and more is coming. Obama is trying to go through these executive orders now. We'll see what exactly is going to happen. But regardless, at this point, I don't care anymore, because, he can talk all he wants. This is the time of the truth is coming. American people, you need to realize that the Bill of Rights is there only if we are strong enough to defend it. Otherwise, it's just a piece of paper, as Bush used to say, okay? For me, this is not a piece of paper. For me, it's something alive, and my rights, they're not for sale. And now this tyrant in the White House can tell us that we need to jump. You know what? Somebody's going to jump. It's going to be him jumping in the river. And I'm not going to go to follow any of these executive act of tyranny. That's the bottom line. I hope more Americans understand. This is now way past the fact that they're doing unconstitutional laws. This is not anymore about a law. Obama is doing an unconstitutional act of tyranny, and he can shove him up in this place. I cannot say on the air. Now, another good thing also, that the last few days, we know that during the holiday, I think it was Thanksgiving holiday, American people, they bought more weapons than ever. There was a Black Friday, I guess, was a special Black Friday that I guess we could have armed all the Marine Corps with the weapons, the citizens we bought. That's a good message. I think that's the message. That's what I want to say. Tim, I want to give you 30 seconds. We are ready to go. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Luca. My website again is www.1776men.com. Go to the contact page. You'll get my mailing address. This offer is only directly from me.
You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and who love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really...
There we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. I really like to use this hour, the final hour of the show, for a little bit everything. And one of the best things I really like, I enjoy, I like to talk with listeners, or at least people that I know through Facebook from around the world, when it comes down to topics that they are really important to us, at least to me. And one of those, of course, it's guns. And in Europe, we know the story. There is no Second Amendment. It is not an inalienable right, God-given right. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine. It's not your natural right. It is a privilege, and I know very well, after all, I was from Italy. But among all the places in Europe, if I had to pick one place that, if I was forced to go back, and that's the only way I would go back, if I would have a chance, because it's not even that easy, thankfully, they have, at least they keep their identity very strong, it's called Switzerland. And even in Switzerland, people think, every man or every woman have a rifle in their home. That's partially true, because that's property of the state. I mean, you are part of the citizen militia, but that's not exactly like you have that right to have a weapon that you can buy, like we in Arizona, we can buy, like we buy a pair of shoes. So that's why I wanted to continue briefly the conversation with the husband of Victoria. Victoria was a nice lady that we had like a few weeks ago on the show, and we were talking about a little bit about these things. So let me bring him in. He's right now in Switzerland, and let me see, Basel is the way, hopefully I pronounced it right, and let me bring him on. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, please spell your name. I want to be sure I don't say it wrong.
My name is Toni. T-O-N-I.
Very good. And so you are the lucky man, the husband of Victoria, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Very good. So, as I can hear from your accent, you are from Switzerland. Tell me if I'm wrong. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Switzerland.
Very good. And this just because I like to share this information, probably many people in America may know, but maybe, trust me, don't know. Switzerland has 4 different parts, okay? Let me see if I remember right. The 4 cantoni, we used to call in Italy. There are 4 different corners. And every part of Switzerland, they have an official language. Am I right or wrong?
That's absolutely correct. You know, we speak Italian, French, Retro-Romanic, and German.
Perfect. I really always was so excited about this idea. I mean, in a small little country, they have 4 almost independent, different background areas with their language. So do you speak all these languages? I'm just curious.
I speak some French, and I speak German, and I pick up a little Italian from family.
Okay.
So I don't speak it, after a while you just get used to it, you hear it all the time. That's why Retro-Romanic, don't get the wrong picture, that's a kind of a mix-up of Latin that hardly anybody speaks anymore. It's just a minority of roughly 600,000 people in Switzerland.
Wow.
And we still have some television, sometimes some shows in Retro-Romanic, but other than that, it's not really being used.
But still there are a lot of people anyway. How many people you tell me that they are talking this language still?
600,000.
That's a lot. 600,000, I know maybe not very much in a country like America, but it's still a great community there. So it's kind of interesting. We're talking about a very old language mixed with Latin. Very exciting. Now, let's go back to the guns. We were talking with your lady a few weeks ago, and I was so excited to see that her and you, of course, you were going to do the right thing. And to have a gun, I think it's a basic thing, like you have a spare tire for your car. So, great. Now, how far did you go into this process? First of all, did you find the gun that you like?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much have a closed down what I like, but I'm still open to ideas from people that have more experience in that field. But I did review some pistols that I like.
Tell me, because I'm just my humble opinion. This is I'm just a regular guy that like to study a lot, and of course I practice things. But everybody has their own personal preference. At the end of the day, it's going to be your gun that fits your hand and your budget. There are a lot of opportunities out there. But let me tell you first. Let me ask you, what is the gun right now after your research and you're asking around? What do you like?
I can tell other gun. I probably going to stick with a SIG.
SIG.
With a SIG, yeah.
And that's also a little bit of national pride. Don't get me wrong. I like that. That's the brand from Switzerland, correct?
Yeah, because my wife mentioned that you prefer the Austrian one, and
that's kind of
rather like Swiss.
I agree. Just because of that, I would say you're right on. Listen, they have incredible gun. If I tell you something, if I had to start again from scratch, I've been training with Glock. And I got Glock, and I also said in the past why my humble opinion, I would go for a Glock. But probably the SIG is even a superior gun when it comes down to the mechanism and also the perfection of. It's an incredible piece of technology. Don't get me wrong. So much that if I would go for a SIG, I would go for the SIG P226. Okay. 226. That also is a 9mm, and is the official gun, by the way, from the Navy SEAL. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I reviewed some videos on that subject.
So
I spoke to some people that have SIGs, and they like those.
Yes, so it's incredible. You wouldn't get wrong. There is only thing about what I was saying about the SIG. And if the money is not an issue, no problem. Okay, many people try to get a little bit everything together and to make. I'd like to have 2 guns in the house right now. than to have just one gun, maybe in a month, okay? So my point is this. Normally for the price of a good SIG 226, you can spend at least $1,000, okay? Depends what type of accessories you want. It depends what type of, there are different models. But let's say at least $1,000, at least here. Here in America, for that price, you can buy 2 Glocks. That's the first thing I was coming to my mind, okay? And that would be something. Another thing I like about the Glock, if I could compare, it's more important. It's the little easier to use, okay? Don't get me wrong. You need training no matter what you shoot, even if you shoot a revolver. But for example, with Glock, the first thing that you understand that your safety, it's your finger. There is not any external safety, okay? The gun, don't get me wrong, is super safe. You can drop it on the ground and it's not gonna fire. It's an internal type of safety. But the bottom line is under stress. If you're really under stress, you know that the simple thing you have to do with the Glock, you just squeeze the trigger, you press the trigger. That's it. Under stress with a SIG, you must understand that you have a safety mechanism that unless you ingrain that mechanism with many, many repetitions, that probably you will do, I'm sure you will, but the point is not many people have, sometimes they buy their guns and sit there on the table. That's something that under stress may really be something to compromise also your safety, because if you don't automatically remember to remove that safety, you may have a gun that is not working. And that's another important thing. There is a decocking mechanism that it takes a little extra training. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty simple. But
you see, I don't have that much experience shooting. I did shoot several times also when I was a kid with my granddad, and he always was kind of a fan of American westerns and American shows, streets of San Francisco, and he had shotguns and old Berettas and whatever, and but I never really got into it enough, and how to shoot. For me, it's like it's a chapter I have to really open up. That's why I want to do I did some little research, and I went to the store and really wanted to know, like, what do I have to do to get a couple guns?
That's a great start. Great start.
With terrorists, I thought that's something we have to do.
Perfect. So whatever gun, at the end of the day, whatever gun you have, you have to train. That's the most important thing. And as I said, if money is not a problem, go with the SIG. I always say I like to have one gun, but with a lot of ammo, and of course being able to have spare parts, whatever I need, easy to have access. Probably in Switzerland for a SIG you can get all the spare parts you want. With Glock, really, we don't need really much spare parts because they really break. But let me tell you, there is so much aftermarket accessories, starting even from the magazines, okay? You can buy aftermarket magazine for a Glock for almost a third of the price. So you have a little bit or more of open market when it comes down to find parts and easy. But regardless, whatever you get it fast, and don't forget, get as much ammo as you can afford, because the bottom line is you can have a gun, but when you run out of ammo, it's going to be just like a rock. I mean, it's not going to be much of a use. So consider always to put a little budget, especially now that we are still able to buy ammunition. Do you have any type of restrictions? For example, like I know in Italy, if you want to buy ammunition, you have a limited number you can buy of ammunition, or not?
Not that I'm aware of. I do know if I now go in the store, I can only buy 3 guns with the license I just got.
Okay. So
and after that I can buy ammunition, as far as I know, to fill up as much as I want. But every time I want to go back in the store and buy new ammunition, I have to go through the whole process again of getting the license.
Wow.
And some dealers if they know you, are not so strict, I was told. So I was told a few people that are dealers where I can still get it without having to go through the process. But it's not a long process. I don't want to make it sound worse than it is,
Yeah,
you go to I just tell you the line, you go to the local post office from the government, you ask them, give them $20, they send you from the government the registry of if there's anything being reported on you about your criminal history. And once you have that, you have 1 or 2 more documents, and you send that in to your cantonal state department. And then within a few days later, I had already a license.
Wow. So this is very important. I want to give this message to our, especially Arizona listeners that probably you already know. I mean, look, this is the average day in Europe, and not even that average, because I tell you, Germany is much worse, Italy is even worse, and Switzerland is pretty friendly country compared to others in Europe, but we're talking about still license. This is not a right, it's a privilege. The government tells you if you can or not. There is some sort of a criteria. So think about it, what we have here, you know. I know that, for example, in Italy, you have a limited amount of ammunition you can have in your own house, okay? I forgot exactly, I think about 200, 300, something like that. I will double check. But, I mean, think about it. We can go out and we can buy. I remember when I used to go to Prescott, Arizona, a few years ago with a friend of mine. He has a big truck, and we used to buy like $1,500 each of ammunition. The trucker was coming down like we were almost barely making it to the hills. And no big deal, no laws to buy as many ammo as we can afford. And look now, you have to go through a license. So let's appreciate what we have here, and so let's remember that this kind of the world around us, it is a little different. So I am glad that you at least have the opportunity through a permit to get what you need to get. Now, when is the next time you think you're going to buy this gun, or whatever gun you want?
I think, you see, the reason I didn't buy it yet, I have that now since a week. The reason I didn't buy it is because I'm going to receive a few guns due an inheritance. That's why I'm going to get a few. And even if I inherit guns, shotguns and revolvers, and then I also have to go through the same process.
Wow.
There's a few guns you don't need a license for, like we know where you also can do only 2 shots for hunting, or if it's powered by air. But otherwise, you always go through the same process. But it's not like in the States. I remember I was last year in Texas and went to a pawn shop, and I could have bought a half automatic for $200. I was like, wow, that's like a Rambo store.
So what gun are you gonna get in inheritance? What type of gun?
The ones I'm going to inherit are shotguns.
Oh, shotgun. Okay.
Big ones, shotguns, and then a few revolvers. And stuff that used to be in the possession of my family.
Wow.
And even ammunition that are not even legal anymore in the States. You know, like old ones, dum-dum stuff. You know, so.
Excellent. Yeah, exciting. So I like to know whenever you get your ammo, what type of ammo you have. It would be fun to know. Can I ask you a question? Did you serve in the military in Switzerland there?
No, actually not. Not because I didn't want to. I went twice to do all the exercises and stuff, but I left the country when I was 18.
Okay.
And I asked them if I have to do it, and they gave me permission to leave. And when I came back, I was 26 or 27, and then, it's here, the people that go through the military service in those 15 to 18 weeks, they're usually 18, 17 years old, and I was not really eager. During that time when I came back, I used to live in different countries in Europe and also shortly in the States. And thus I just wanted to focus on doing my school and more further education, and didn't want to go through the process of being away in the army.
Okay.
But sometimes I regret not having had this education. That's why I'm sometimes picking up when I see a family of my wife. They're all veterans, military, for former soldiers, and they give me some lessons sometimes.
You know, in Switzerland is one of the few systems I really I respect as a form of military, because it's a citizen. There is not like the standing army like we have now around the world, and become almost a mercenary army. Instead, like our founding fathers at the beginning envisioned, they didn't want a standing army. They wanted a citizen armed citizens, that they are also, trained in case we need to be activated. And if people say, I don't believe in guns or I don't believe in violence, that's fine. You can become a medic. You can do a lot of great things. As much I do not like a mandatory anything coming from the government, but I tell you, at least in this system that you have, guys, you have at least opportunity that is not going to become like a military-industrial complex, is not going to creep in like now happened the last 80, 90 years in this country. We have now a military-industrial complex because unfortunately we don't have any more what we used to have. These citizens that have to go through, and we recycle every year or every 2 years. Now, do you have any family members that they served in the Swiss Army?
Yeah, of course. Literally, almost except me, most. My brother did, my dad did, my granddad did. I mean, yeah, they all went to the army. You usually cannot even get out. I mean, I didn't have to go back when I was in that age. I managed just to go out of the country, not because due to the military, but just it happened to be just the occasion that I could work in another location. Mm-hmm. But what we see in Switzerland as a negative tendency is that people don't really see the enemy. Up to just recently, it was considered like a joke to spend so much money on army. And some people that are younger now are sometimes a little left-wing oriented, and they think, well, we don't need to spend billions on having a strong army when we are such a small little country. And that's an issue that came up repeatedly, that our Minister of Self-Defense or Defense had promised to fundraise the money in order to buy really good airplanes. And then there were some, conditions. Where are we going to buy them? We didn't want to buy them from the States. We didn't want to buy them from France. Then they bought them from Sweden. And it's always kind of tricky for Switzerland. Like, why do we spend so much money on military equipment? Well, how is that okay when we are anywhere neutral and haven't been in a war in such a long time? So we start to forget our history, why we survived certain wars. It's not just because we are nice people and we have tanks. We used to be heavily armed during the Second World War. And we have a history of paid mercenaries.
Yes.
It's not anymore. Yeah.
It was a joke, I remember. Hopefully I remember right. There was during World War II, there was the German colonel outside Switzerland talking to a Swiss colonel. And he said, guys, you are half million people there. You got not more than 500,000 soldiers, okay? We are like 1 million soldiers. I mean, how you think you can face us? I mean, how are you going to do that? Come on. And guess what? We're going to come out, you come to us, we shoot 2 rounds, and then we go back home. I mean, the point is, the Switzerland people, even had been always in this, your policy, they also used to be the policy of the original founding fathers, to try to mind their business, have trades with everybody, but alliance with none. That was George Washington's last speech before he left office. I mean, the point is not because you're a small country, not because you don't have all these trillions of dollars in the military-industrial complex, means that you are defenseless. I mean, every house, every family, every neighbors. Last time I remember when I went to Switzerland, I also used to have a friend there. They are prepared. And you went through many years, centuries of wars in Europe, and you always were left alone, not just because, of course, you have the banks there, and they pretty much is a safe place for everybody, but also because the Swiss people, they're always ready to defend their country and their freedom. That's an important thing I would like to remember. We need to have citizens that they need to know what to do in case there is an emergency, and unfortunately now we don't have any more of this in the average country in Europe, for sure.
But you see, I still know a whole bunch of people, including when I was raised up in Switzerland. I always remember, when we were kids, my dad, for example, had machine guns at home from the military.
Yeah.
So if you come in our house, you have to think it over twice, otherwise you're flat. It's a little more than just a revolver if somebody knows how to use a machine gun and takes you down, And sometimes people are surprised how many people in Switzerland have guns.
Exactly.
And people that collect too. I mean, I know people that have entire collections, and they really know how to use it. It's
exactly.
Not, even though we're not in war, etc., it doesn't mean that we don't know how to have wars.
No, it's true, because the bottom line is, when you have a gun, it is not the handgun to defend your freedom, and not even the shotgun, that's normally to defend your castle or your home. We need to have military battlefield rifles, they want the basic weapon of the infantryman. And that's how wars, after all, even with all this technology, we still go back to this type of concept. And especially when you have a country like Switzerland that is pretty much strategically protected by the Alps, there is it's a very tough place that somebody wanting to take over. There's not going to be easy spot, okay? Afghanistan could be something will remind me, but I think Switzerland can be even worse than Afghanistan when it comes down to to be attacked. And that's why I think I
wouldn't want to be our enemy. Even though we are a small country, I would not want to be somebody coming in Switzerland for war.
Exactly. Remember, you're defending your home, you're defending your neighbor, you're defending your house. That's the most powerful weapon. It's love, I always say. And, there is no more immoral thing when somebody goes on your home and tries to kick you out. You have the right to defend yourself. So that's incredible. Did you ever heard about Mayor Von Duck? Hopefully I pronounced this right. He wrote an interesting book that I suggest everybody to read. I got my paperback a few years ago. It's called Total Resistance.
No, I don't know it yet, but I look it up. Yeah.
I'll send it to you. It's a very interesting book. It was written by this Major Von Duck, and is one of you guys. And he wrote this book that is almost like a manual for everybody from the little child to the older person. Everybody can have a role in defending freedom and defending your country. And he made a very simple manual that everybody can find their role and train for whatever they need to do. Listen, I really appreciate you for, first of all, being on the phone with us, sharing your experience of what's going on in Switzerland. And I hope next time I hear you, I'm gonna start the bets here. The bet is it gonna buy a Glock or is it gonna buy a SIG? And all the bets are open.
You really got me wondering what's smaller, because SIG, I think, has a higher technology, but for a beginner like me, a Glock might be smaller. So maybe I buy both.
That's a good idea.
Then we can compare, and I know from personal experience what I recommend.
Yeah, and if you buy a Glock, the beautiful thing you have, you're going to have it very simple. You can buy 2 Glocks, for example, depends on your head. If I were you, I would buy a Glock 17, is the full-size Glock, maybe for yourself. And then you can buy for your lady, for example, a Glock 19, is the smaller version. And you still share the same magazines. I mean, the Glock 17 magazine, I lost them. Oh, I lost them. 1 second. Let me bring them back. This is the end of the conversation. Let's see. I lost you. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying the last words. If you buy, for example, the Glock, one of the good benefits you have, you can exchange magazines, and you can also stock up on the same magazines. For example, let's say you have a Glock 17 gun that has the full-size magazine. You can use this magazine also in a smaller Glock of the same caliber. For example, let's say if your lady has a smaller hand, she can use the Glock 19. So that would be very simple. You buy the same ammo, the same parts, spare parts, they're almost the same for every Glock, especially when you have a small frame like the 9. So that would be something to consider. But whatever you buy, I'll be happy that you buy it, okay?
Now I feel pretty much closed.
What happened?
Now I feel pretty much closed on this pistol.
Yeah, because also the price of magazine, everything else, spare parts. For example, I did some upgrades for my Glock the last few weeks, and you can shop around, you can modify your Glock, and for example, I'll show you different things from, I don't want to go into details, but you can have a lot of aftermarket parts. They make your Glock even better and more personal for you, for your style. And the beautiful thing is, it's simple, it's instinctive, and up the price on many other good guns. And you still have a very good quality product, in my opinion. But more important, what I hope you can buy, and you need to get a military-grade battlefield rifle. That's the real thing, because the gun is to defend your person, but normally with a gun, you fight your way to the rifle. Let's say tomorrow you invaded, okay? Or you have really some situation that somebody's coming at you. You want to be able, with the rifle, to keep them away 200, 300, 400 yards. The handgun is when you have no option. They're already on you. So the gun is good. It's the first thing you carry every day. It's a reactive weapon that normally it has the benefit that you can carry with you almost everywhere. But at the end of the day, you want to have a rifle. That's the most important thing I think you should get whenever you can.
And what do you recommend for rifle?
Well, you can get almost everything, I guess, semi-automatic without any special problems, right?
Semi is probably possible.
Yeah, because, without going to the full auto, we don't need full auto. That's a submachine or some sort of, assault weapon, full auto. I'm talking about rifle semi-automatic. I would get definitely something that you can manage. We don't need to go into long distance like, 500 or 600 yards. I'm talking about between 0 to 200 yards, okay? That's the terrain that also you're living. You're living in a town, and that's something that would fit for your situation. If you're living probably on top of the mountain, yeah, you can get different type of rifles. But for that type of situation, what I would suggest you, there is, for example, if you want to stick with SIG, there is a SIG 556. I have one. It's an incredible 556/223 semi-automatic rifle made by SIG. It's incredibly reliable. In my opinion, it's even better than the AR-15, comparable to the AR-15. The SIG 556, it's an incredible rifle, especially when you have that medium size cartridge like the 556. That is it's a gun. It's a weapon that you can operate between, let's say, 20 yards all the way to 300 yards. Okay, so it's not like a battlefield rifle like a 308, but it could give you all the energy, all the defense that you need out of a rifle in your environment. And it's light. It's very little recoil. It's honestly less recoil than the AR-15. For example, you can share with your lady. You can train together. The ammunition is still affordable, cheaper than the 308. So definitely, I would go with that route. In my opinion, it's very simple to also operate. Otherwise, I would get, if you want to go a different route, I would get for an AK-47 style, because you're never going to get the real AK-47. Normally you get the AKM, but I would get something like that. But in my opinion, since you live in Switzerland, you can have access probably to a SIG 556. There are different models. Mine has the collapsible stock, the foldable stock, and they are very, very well done weapons, very reliable. So that's what I would do if I would get the first rifle for yourself. And if you can, a 22, it's a must for practice and also for fun, and also for in case you need to go and survive. You can get little games. If you can get a little Ruger 1022 or any 22 rifle, that would be another part of the addition of your family of rifles I would get.
So you say a 556 and a 22.
Yes, that would be the first two choices. And whenever you get a rifle, don't forget, get magazines extra, because magazine can also be outlawed or can break. You can lose them. So for every rifle, I would suggest you at least to get 15, 20 magazines. And people say, I don't need all this. Guess what? You never know. What if there is a war? What if the market is closed that you cannot buy any more of this stuff? It's become outlawed. So buy extra magazine for every rifle. And more important, ammunition. So people ask me, how much ammunition can I buy? You know what? First of all, you pay all your basic bills. Be sure that you can eat at night and your house is paid. After that, that's a good point. Yeah, I always say
ammunition. Okay, and I get it.
As much your floor can handle. I like cement floor. Okay, that's the way I buy ammunition. Buy trucks, and that's the bottom line. But first of all, you pay your basic bill, then you buy ammo. And guess what? It's an investment. People invest in gold and silver, that's great. Don't forget to invest also in lead, okay?
Don't worry.
All right, listen, I'll let you go. I know it's dinner time, and thank you very much. My best to you and your lady. And whenever you want to call me, I would love to hear from you, especially whatever gun I like to know what guns did you get, okay?
Well, thank you a lot. It was very, very interesting, and I'm very helpful for your insight.
Thank you.
I will call you once I have the guns, okay?
Very good. And hopefully maybe one day next time, if you come to America, go through Arizona, and I'll tell you where I am. Maybe you can come and shoot at my range, okay?
Okay, cool.
Thank you. All right, guys, very good. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Don't go away, little break, and then we come back. This is going to be the time of a recipe. I have an incredible recipe with spaghetti and eggplants. I'm hungry.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. John luca-Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-Zanna. This is the final part of the final hour. As you can hear from my voice, I am today in a very bad shape. I don't know what I got, probably cold, germs. All I know that all this started exactly a week ago when they've been pounding the crap out of us in Mojave County, especially in Golden Valley, with the weather modification activities. The sky, you could not see anymore the blue. It was all white, crisscross, spraying the crap of this chemical. We know that's a chemical. Maybe it's barium, lowering my immune system. I don't know. Maybe germ warfare. Guess what? If you laugh at me, that's fine. You can laugh, but I'll tell you something. I give you the magic word when you're laughing. You think the government would never harm us. They would never experiment on us. The downwinders, especially for the people here in Mojave County, they should remind you something. Now they're getting paid some peanuts, some charity from the federal government, because they admitted, after all this radiation, all these nukes experiment they were doing. I brought how many cases of completely secret programs of experimentations of harmful acts that the federal government was doing on people without their consent, without their knowledge. So that's a fact. And if people want to laugh, that's fine. Now, the chemtrails, or you want to call them weather modification, is so real that, first of all, you don't need to be a scientist to see them. All you have to have two eyes and a little bit of a brain to connect the dots. But the point is, this stuff is harm our health. So anyway, I feel not that great today, I tell you, but guess what? They're not going to put me down. Okay, I'm fighting back. I'm eating right. I try to detox. I try to avoid garbage, and I take Protandim. It really helps me out somehow. I still have a little bit of cold, but guess what? When I'm on the show, I find the energy. I find the way to, through the guest I had today, I'm telling you, the first hour for me was amazing. I don't need to agree with the guy. Honestly, and I tell you, the guy probably doesn't even know exactly what he is because, for me he's a good guy, but doesn't mean that he's a great Muslim. That's the type of guy I like. People that does what he wants and let other people live alone. But the only point is we must understand, not everybody's like him. And that's my point. But the purpose of the show is to completely have some sort of a communication and to allow here anybody who wants to say something, especially if we disagree, I want you on. Maybe we can learn from each other. Maybe we can understand. Maybe there was some confusion. Whatever. Even if we disagree, at least I respect you. You come here, you tell me the way it is, and I tell you the way it is, politely. Then if we have to go on the battlefield, it's going to be on the street, but not on the show. The show is for polite and for civil conversations, and of course for love. And now food. Even I'm sick, guess what? I tell you what I'm going to cook. I'm not going to record the show from my kitchen. Normally I would do that. Today's recipe I would like to share with you. After all, it is the recipe, as I said, spaghetti with eggplants. But I'm going to do it now because I'm too lazy. I'm going to give it to you what I'm going to do now when I go into the kitchen. Are you ready? First of all, pen and paper. Write down the ingredients. Very simple. You need some good spaghetti. That's the first thing you need. Don't start to cut corners. And I don't endorse anybody here, but I tell you, Barilla sucks. And not because for their political whatever stances. I don't care. Barilla, unfortunately, I don't even know what their political stances are, but I know that there was some sort of a controversy in the past with the gay or not gay. I couldn't care less. The point that Barilla really is a very commercial, mass-produced pasta. I don't even know the wheat, if it's GMO or not. I have no idea. All I know that really is the last of my, for emergency, don't get me wrong. I used to have Barilla, after all, I live in America now, so I don't have many choices to find everything I want. So I used to carry Barilla in my personal stock, but it's not my favorite. So pick the best pasta you can. I can give you a little advice. If you go to a Safeway or even Walmart, you can still find a very good quality pasta. It's called De Cecco. D-E-C-E-C-C-O. De Cecco is a good pasta. And you will see the difference. Try to cook. Maybe for you, I don't know, guys, but for me, I really taste it, okay? So you need at least a beautiful pack of spaghetti, okay? That's the first thing. Get the best brand you can get. The Cecco for me is the best you can find around here in the U.S. There's another brand, I forgot the name. It is from Italy, and you can find as meats. Next time I'll tell you. Anyway, spaghetti, 1 pound of spaghetti. At least that's gonna do it for me. Then we need eggplant. You need at least one big, organic, GMO-free eggplant. People, I'm sorry, if you think eggplant, they are not good for you, and the pasta is not good for you, at least don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are a lot of things that are not good for us, okay? But this is probably the most healthy thing you can eat. Okay, if you start to realize that you're eating garbage all day, if you go through processed food or from some sort of fast food. So at least this is as fresh as we can get it and less processed as we can get it, okay? So we have one big eggplant. If you don't have a big one, get two, GMO-free. Try to get them fresh. Don't get them old. Be sure you get the good stuff. Then you need at least 3 or 4 garlic cloves. Get the fresh garlic. If you can do it, grow it yourself, okay? At least you know what you're eating. You gotta watch it now. Most of the garlic comes from China, believe it or not. Can you believe that? So grow your garlic, okay? Now, these are the basic ingredients, okay? So we have the eggplant, we have the pasta, we have garlic. Of course, we need the magic olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Get good quality. Don't get just regular olive oil. Get extra virgin olive oil. The flavor makes the difference. Now you need a big pan, okay? Big pan with the top, okay? So we can start to chop first of all this eggplant, okay, in small, teeny little pieces. Try to be sure that you want to get this eggplant. When you chop it all in the same size. Don't have some part bigger and some part smaller, because they want to cook homogeneously, okay? They want to cook all in the same way. Before we go there, though, we gotta cut this eggplant in slices, okay? In round slices. And not too thin, just enough that you can let them sit with some salt on top. You get some big salt on top of this, and put them in an area where they're going to drain. You will see that they will remove water. Yes, the eggplant normally can be a little bitter as a flavor, but if you do this little trick, if you put some salt on the slices of eggplant, and then you wash it, of course you want to wash this salt, you don't want to leave it there, you will see that there is going to be a lot of water coming out of the eggplant, and that's the bitter part. It makes the difference, believe it or not. It's going to taste even better. So, prepare this eggplant, or the eggplants, about 30 minutes before, cut in the slices, pour the salt, and let it remove, expel the water, the bitter water. Now, meanwhile, we got this pan, and with a couple, 2 or 3 at least, even 4 big tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You pour the oil, and low, medium heat. You don't want to go too heavy, okay? Low, medium. You put the garlic cloves, smash them, and you start to you pour this eggplant in very thin little pieces. You want to make at least, or maybe in some squares or some sort of slices, but be sure that they are all in the same type of consistency. You let yourself be creative, okay? That's the bottom line. So you will start to see that now these eggplants start to cook. You may probably need a couple of cups of water in case they start to realize that they don't cook. They start to burn. So you don't want to burn, you don't want to attach to the pan. So you cook this eggplant in a way that you also simmer them. You close the top, so they're going to cook homogeneously, and they're not going to burn, okay? Now, another important thing I like to put here is a beautiful red hot chili spicy pepper, okay? That's important. So put one of those, according to your taste. Now, 1 second, because I'm going to probably cough. Here we go. I told you I wasn't kidding when I said I'm sick today. Anyway, so that's the eggplant. Now you add a little bit of salt, a little bit of ground pepper. And at the end, when the eggplant you think is pretty much cooked, you add at the end some fresh parsley. Try to grow your fresh parsley. You can grow even if you are in your little kitchen in an apartment, okay? Just get a vase. Much better. At least you know what you're eating, okay? Not too much, but just enough. You put it there when the pan, the fire is already off. So at least the parsley will start to give the flavor. Now, what meanwhile, we got our typical boiling pot with water, and we're cooking our pasta. I don't want to tell you every time how to cook the pasta. We're already talking the pasta, okay? Get good water. Don't get the water from the city with the chlorine. Get what has been purified. Tastes better, believe it or not, even when you cook the pasta. So you let the water boil. You drop the spaghetti inside. Then you start to see that when the spaghetti start to feel al dente, don't just follow the instructions. The instructions sometimes means nothing. It depends on what type of altitude you are, can be cooking faster or less, okay? So, just taste it. But be sure that you don't want a floppy, okay? Floppy pasta, I can cry, literally. Normally I do that when I make the floppy. I mean, that never happens to me, but somebody call me in the middle, I'm cooking, and I make my pasta floppy and I ruin it, I can start to go in a panic attack. Seriously, I like pasta al dente. So, don't overcook the pasta. Now, let's say the pasta is ready. Meanwhile, we had the beautiful eggplant sitting there in that pan. Guess what? What do? Two options. If you have a big pan enough, you drain the pasta, and at that point, leave a pinch of water, just a pinch, not too much. You drop this pasta with a little pinch of water into the pan with the eggplant. So they're gonna become all one orgy of flavors. You like the idea? An orgy of flavors. I like that. All together, the eggplants, the garlic, and the pasta, and of course you got the chili and the extra virgin olive oil. And you put the fire back on for about 2 minutes, medium, and you just let them completely hug each other. That's the idea. Now, at that point, according to your taste, depends on which part of the world you live. If you have access to cheese, you can have different options. Even if you put, for example, ricotta. I did a little bit of a twist with this recipe. With the ricotta cheese. You can get organic ricotta, for example, from Smith's if you live in the US. Tastes very good, by the way. It's not like Italy, but it tastes great, and it's organic. The milk is not full of hormones. Anyway, you put like about probably 3 or 4 tablespoons of ricotta, and you let it melt with the pasta, and then you let it cool it off for 2 minutes, and you're ready to go. And guess what? It's going to be my party time after the show. And if you want, of course, I invite you to have also a glass, or maybe 2 glasses, or even 3 glasses, if you don't have to go around, of wine. Depends on what type of wine you like. So this is the recipe of the day. Spaghetti with eggplants. Okay? And that's my little final, I can't wait to finish this so I can go eat. Alright, now, let's go back. The show, it's almost at the end. As I want to say, guys, there is so much going on. And before we go there with the final news, I want to get a break. I need a glass of wine, and I'll get a couple of minutes of song. And don't forget, if you want to support this show, I know I have a lot of listeners. At least for me, there are a lot. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't have the ambition to become the next #1 talk show. I'm just a regular guy from a local radio station. But I see that the stats. I see the show is growing. I need your help. I need your help, because sometimes I get tired, and it takes me a lot of time, a lot of my personal time to do this show. And, I also want to say another thing. I want your help not just supporting the show that I invite you to do. Please go to zanna.us or to, for example, zannaart.com. You can download any of my songs, or you know the story. You can buy my CDs. Anything you see there for sale, support it. Okay? And also there is a beautiful section for, just to let you know, confederategifts.us. on lovegunsfreedom.com, confederategifts.us, amazing stuff, okay? To just show the politically correctness slaves out there that we can, the heritage of this country, it is not racism anymore. This is about the heritage, the history, okay? And if they're gonna get irritated because you got a Confederate flag or a Confederate whatever, just buy it and support the show. But anyway, regardless, what I need also from you guys, I need your help. I appreciate when people takes the time to spread the show out. For example, I have a great lady that is helping me out from just to let you know, just on finding and looking for guests. I appreciate that too. I don't have much time. And also, what I like when people help me out to monitor my the Love Guns Freedom Facebook page. I appreciate that. So anybody can do something. I really do appreciate your help, okay? And for example, I want to thank Debbie Aileen, that she's been great. She's been also helped me out to post and follow and take care of the Love Guns Freedom Facebook page. So I really do appreciate your help, okay? Now, all I want to say, guys, if you can, please help me out. That's it. And this is also your show. So that means that if you have something to say, something that could be also for local news, or if you are, for example, another part of the world and you want to share what's going on, I give you the microphone. I don't really have the ambition to be on this show too much. I don't really like to talk that much on the microphone, honestly. I like to write songs, but I'm not really into talking over the microphone, listening to myself. So if you want to, let's say, have something important to say, and you would like to be my co-host, I say, bring it on. Bring me a good topic, though. I'm not going to talk about your personal things, please. Let's talk about something that is common to all of us. And you know my topic. It's about love. It's about guns. It's about freedom. It's about rights. It's about standing up against the New World Order, against the global government, for our individual rights. So if you got anything important, if you want to expose tyranny or expose corruption, please send me an email. Go to lovegunsfreedom.com. You can find my email there, and I'll be happy to have you as my co-host for the hour or for the segment. And I'll let you talk. I may just stay here sitting and listening to you, okay? So that's the bottom line. That's what we're talking about here. Now, let's go with a little song, and then I'll wrap it up. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Don't go away. We're almost there. Pasta is cooking.
Alone in the night, so many things I wanna try. You come to me with your smile, I can't resist you tonight. Temptation, sensation, I wanna try with you tonight. Temptation, a new sensation, I wanna try with you tonight. Another lie, another smile. Just let it go, just let it fly. I want to feel everything under my skin tonight. Temptation, new sensation, I wanna try. Sensation, I wanna try with you tonight.
Here we go, guys. You know, this is the beautiful thing about this show. It's your show. I want everybody has something to say, that's passionate about the topics I'm talking here. I give you the microphone, and I like to shut up. Now, I have here with me, through Facebook, I'm looking and finding a lot of exciting people, seriously. And this gentleman is not a kid, is a grown-up man, he's from another generation, I'm telling you, but he's amazing, and he has incredible also professional background. And now, I want to give him the microphone. His name is Roy, he's from Lake Havasu, and I really believe that he has a lot of information when it comes down to problems that they are reality of dangers against us. We were talking before about weather modification, chemtrails, and I talk on this show about vaccines. Roy, are you there?
Oh, yes.
Please, Roy, I would like to have you probably next Sunday, if you don't mind, to have you really to talk about more details about this topic. I want to do a show about how much we are under attack as Americans, as human beings in general around the world. But now today I would like to mostly give you the microphone, and I want to say you can say whatever you want. You have a lot of things to say, and you go ahead. I give you 5 minutes, whatever you want to say. This is your radio show now.
Gianluca, thank you. I've met a lot of very discourage people here in this area. I've been all over the world. I've been all over the West Coast with things, but like the one thing that just tears me apart is this poison that they give us as vaccinations and flu shots and all of this crap. And as a child, I was born in 1942. I was a son of a sailor. I was raised in the Navy, and I never saw a doctor until I was about 15 years old and moved to Seattle. But I always saw a pharmacist mate and everything, and I was allowed to be a very healthy child. I think it was around 1954, 55, whenever they came out with the polio vaccine. I was a polio pioneer, as was my sister. And we had all been through chicken pox and measles, all the childhood diseases that, we never had a problem with. And once you had them, your body was immune for life. And of course, the big terror in those days was polio. Polio. That's all you ever heard about. And they showed horrible films of that. Well, coming out of World War II, my father told me when I was about 10 years old, he said, son, the Nazis didn't lose World War II.
Wow.
They moved it to America.
Yeah.
And if you look through history, that was pretty much the case. And if they'll bring you up to date, you can look at that now. Now, the polio vaccine, as we found out later, and my grandmother had a fit when they gave it to us. My mother, she thought it was okay, we didn't know. And anyway, the polio vaccine turned out to be monkey virus. Now, of course, it seems like whenever some politician or a president or someone does something truly, exceptionally horrific, what prize do they receive? The Nobel Peace Prize. Now, you go back to that, and Dr. Salk at that time was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, the other thing that reared its ugly head about that time as a child was the United Nations.
Yeah.
And if you combine the two things that I just put together, the vaccinations from the Nazi war camps and the Nazi, whatever you want to call it, you can have, going to the UN, the United Nations, with the capital in New York City, whenever there's a crisis in the world, what do? We vaccinate children all over the world. Now, what is the biggest thing that killed in Africa? HIV, which is the polio vaccine. There was recently the hurricane over the Philippines. What did they send to the Philippine Islands to save the children? Like 100,000 polio vaccinations. That's what they always send. When you get a flu shot, just if people are like, get a flu shot. Okay, take a look on that label and see what that is. Just read the label. It's mercury, other assorted wonderful things for your body, which leads me to SIDS. As a firefighter, I carried babies out of homes that were still warm, gave them mouth-to-mouth all the way to a hospital.
Wow.
Pumping on them, walk in an emergency room, and the nurse says, put it up here. And a doctor would peek his head around the corner, and I am not lying to you, Gianluca. A doctor would put his head around the corner and say, it's dead. Now you put that on. I would like to say that to every doctor in America, especially the ones who are running for the Senate or the Congress, or the ones that are like, get your vaccinations. Get that, okay? And you find out that sudden infant death syndrome is not that the baby slept wrong. It was the day they received all of these inoculations full of mercury and God knows what. They pounded these things in these little tiny baby bodies, and they die that day.
Yes, let me stop you 1 second. This is important. This is exactly the topic I would like to talk next Sunday. I hope you can come with me on the show so we can really articulate with facts and proofs all things that we are talking here. And let me also remind somebody, when you said, the Nazi, they came here, it is true. People, I invite everybody out there to Google the magic keyword, Operation Paperclip, okay? Operation Paperclip. Google it. This is not just a bunch of conspiracy theory. This is the document, declassified document. You will find out what we talk here. Listen, I really take you on the word, and I hope we can, of course, organize this one for next Sunday. We will talk specifically about how much fraud and I take crime, because this is a criminal mind with a criminal intent to kill us. And it's not anymore about money or negligence. I really believe there is an evil plan to depopulate the world, and the vaccination, unfortunately, is part of the equation. So listen, I'll talk to you next Sunday, and I thank you to be with us today. And let's just don't forget, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna, and God's willing, I'll talk to you again. Thank you.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.FM Network.